Okay, from beautiful East Tennessee in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains, you are.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,497. Silver at $16.96. And Bitcoin is trading around $11,358. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Jeffrey Epstein is dead, with multiple reports Saturday morning alleging that the disgraced financier committed suicide in his Manhattan jail cell. The 66-year-old Epstein's death comes after the disgraced financier was arrested on multiple child sex trafficking charges. Fox News reports Epstein's death was confirmed to the Associated Press by the Manhattan Medical Examiner's Office. His attorney did not immediately offer confirmation following media requests. Epstein 2 weeks ago was placed on suicide watch after he was found injured in his jail cell. It's never been explicitly confirmed whether the injuries were due to a suicide attempt or an attack. According to the New York Times, Epstein, who had strong ties to elite society, was indicted in July with sex trafficking girls as young as 14 years old. Accusations had followed him for years regarding allegations of a for-pay sexual lifestyle involving young girls. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Monsanto operated an intelligence gathering fusion center to discredit journalists and activists, including singer Neil Young, and paid Google to bury results in its search engine, according to a report from The Guardian. Activist Post reports that Bayer Monsanto had kept a file of 200 names, including journalists and lawmakers, in hopes of influencing their positions on pesticides, according to French prosecutors. The Guardian's expose says Monsanto spied on journalists using a fusion center-type operation and paid Google to hide negative results. The documents originate from 2015 to 2017 and were disclosed as part of one of numerous ongoing court battles on the health hazards of the company's Roundup weed killer. According to the Guardian report, Monsanto PR staff internally talked about putting pressure on the Reuters news agency, stating they should, quote, continue to push back on Gilliam's editors very strongly every chance we get, end quote. In a shocking move, Chase Bank on Thursday announced it's going to be forgiving all outstanding credit card debt from its Canadian customers, according to a report from Yahoo Finance. The bank, in 2018, closed all of its credit card accounts in Canada. The Mind Unleashed reports that when the accounts were initially closed, customers were told to continue paying down their debt. Now they're being told by the company that their debt is canceled. CBC talked to some customers who got letters from the bank. Douglas Turner of Cohill, Ontario, who still owed about $4,500, said he was sort of over the moon all night with a smile on his face. The bank had previously offered reward cards for both Amazon and Marriott in Canada. Maria Martinez, Vice President of Communications for Chase Card Services, said the bank could have sold the debt, but that forgiving it, quote, was a better decision for all parties, including, and most importantly, our customers, end quote. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A Japanese-American internment facility was still in operation in the mountains of Northern California. The facility should have been closed in 1945 and its 6,000 residents released, but unfortunately the camp was overlooked until this week. I am happy to announce, however, that the remaining 118 detainees have now been fully exonerated of suspicion of spying for General Tojo, and they have been freed. Next item of business. The President will be meeting with the Australian Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd. Yes, Denise?
Huge oversight. How could this have happened?
Well, Denise, it looks like the camp just somehow slipped through the cracks. The end of the Second World War was a hectic time in America, and it's only natural that we let a couple of things slip in our excitement over defeating the Nazis.
Who's going to be held responsible for this?
Congressional investigation?
No, there won't. In fact, the War Relocation Authority was responsible for the decommissioning of the internment facilities, but that organization ceased to exist in 1946, so no.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, brought to you as always by the Liberty Radio Studio. I don't know, I suddenly forgot how to introduce the show. I'm your host as always, Aria.
Jay Noon here.
And Angie.
And it's weird being here on a Wednesday. I will confess I haven't ever been here on a Wednesday. I don't think, except maybe like the Christmas Eve episode. I don't recall exactly what day that was. May have been Christmas Day.
I don't know. This is the first time I've been on the show with you.
Yeah, it's...
Be my first also. But
Definitely.
I've listened to you for a long time now. Probably ever since you've been doing Call of Freedom anyways.
Yeah, it's scaled back to once a week now, by the way.
I've noticed.
So the most interesting thing that was brought to my attention today deals with trans stuff. And it actually, I was not the one who brought this in. But for those listening who may not be aware, I am a trans person. It's not obvious from the sound of my voice, but yeah, that is the case. And Angie, you brought in a story about a dad who is horrified because the public school system, it would seem, has convinced his daughter that she is in fact a boy.
Right. I was really surprised when I found that story, and I thought it would be perfect for tonight.
I would absolutely agree. Now, there is a lot of leftism in the public schools. I'm sure you're both aware of this. And this is why so many libertarians advocate for homeschooling, because in homeschooling, you can actually teach what, I don't want to say politics, but what social inclinations your kids are learning. Whereas in the public schools, it's largely up to the teachers and the administration, which overwhelmingly seems to tend toward liberalism.
Well, the teachers are all have this accreditation from some college where they, teach like, I don't know, underwater basket weaving or some kind of liberal arts, and they're all funded by, big leftists, and they're all very pro-state, and, the agenda is, as far as I can tell, I have an aunt who I love very much. She's a good woman. She's been an education professional her whole life. Made $125,000 a year her last year that she worked in Massachusetts school system.
Wow.
And never taught a student anything. She's part of the administration. She is a psychiatrist.
Okay.
Has a doctorate in psychology. And she even said to me herself that the school system needs to keep on expanding in employees constantly, or basically her retirement would be no good. When she retires, because she collects like $84,000 a year in retirement right now.
That's pretty good.
It is pretty good. She actually had to sue the state of Massachusetts a little while back because they cut her back some, and she's like, oh, no, here's my contract. And I'm like, well, that contract's, basically the state is pointing guns at people to make sure you get paid, right? And I'm not going to look at it that way, she says. And so, okay. But anyways, actually what's really cool about her is we can have really great, calm debates and just laugh about it. We don't get angry. That's one of the things I have tremendous respect for her. But it's a pyramid scheme. So part of the scheme is to teach the teachers, ingrained into the teachers, so it's ingrained into the kids that state is good. The state must always grow. And, well, essentially worship the state. Just like this, I don't know if you heard about this guy who assaulted this 13-year-old boy for not saluting the flag or taking his hat off or something or pledge allegiance.
I did see that.
Just it's all state worship.
His skull was like fractured or something.
Yeah.
Just absolutely disgusting allegiance to that flag and the whole state apparatus in general.
And that comes right out of public school. Kids are taught to pledge allegiance to the flag, and I had a teacher I didn't like in 4th grade, so I stopped pledging allegiance to the flag, and I thought I was going to get in trouble when she told my dad, and my dad's like, no, that's fine. You don't have to pledge allegiance to anybody if you don't want to.
My kids go to public school, and the school that they go to, they were supposed to meet every morning and do the Pledge of Allegiance, and my kids would sit in the car until they were done, and no one ever said anything to me. We got some looks, but no one ever came over and said, hey, you need to get out of the car, and if they wanted to get out of the car, they would skip past the group of kids standing around the flag and just scoot into the door. I think once my 8-year-old was sent back outside, and he was like, Mom, I didn't do it. I just stood there and looked at them like they were crazy.
Good for him.
See, my experience was different because I was in school when 9/11 happened and when the patriotism thing just like really kicked off. And where that was when they introduced the Pledge of Allegiance and a 5 minutes of silence every single morning. It was 5 minutes of prayer, but they weren't allowed to call it that.
So they introduced a Pledge of Allegiance at that time? Or
yes. Shortly after the September 11th attack was when our school began doing the Pledge of Allegiance every single morning.
Oh, see, I graduated high school in 98, and it was, I can remember doing it in kindergarten, and I remember
Really?
in 4th grade. But my father was also bringing me to like John Birch Society meetings and stuff like that.
Okay.
Which in some of those meetings they were doing Pledge of Allegiance too. Some of them they were like, not doing it, and and we actually had talks about this. But what I do remember in 4th grade that the part I really remember is my teacher was so pissed that my dad backed me up. And and that's why I know what was going on. But yeah, but I definitely remember in kindergarten they telling us to hold our hand on our heart, and then.
Interesting.
So when I was like, I don't know, however old you are in 4th grade, I just haven't done it since then.
It may be region specific,
Probably.
or just time specific, where it sort of phased out in the late to mid 90s or mid to late 90s and then resurged in 2001. That would probably be my speculation.
Was it Mississippi?
It was.
You were in school? Okay, yeah. So that was Massachusetts. And I don't know.
I would expect that sort of thing to be more common in Mississippi, but sure enough, it wasn't at our school until shortly after September 11th, 2001, in which case I just sort of sat there. But I was always a rebel. It wasn't because I had any real ideological opposition to the Pledge of Allegiance at the time. It was because I just wasn't going to cooperate with anything they were telling me to do. And that just happened to include standing up to say the stupid pledge.
When I was a kid, I grew up in the horse business. My dad was a horse trader. So I went to a lot of rodeos. In eastern New York, there's all up and down like that Champlain Valley area around Saratoga and Lake George. There's 6 or 7 rodeos, and they have like a rodeo. You can go to a rodeo every night of the week, anywhere around Lake George, all summer long. At least you could, 20 years ago. I know 3 of them still function.
Right.
And I can remember sitting on my horse, and I didn't take my cowboy hat off for the Pledge of Allegiance. Or no, it wasn't Pledge of Allegiance. It was National Anthem or something or whatever, one of those things.
One of those magic sky things you're supposed to.
Right. And one guy says to me something about my pappy. He said pappy.
Of course he did.
Would have given me a beating. He said, if I didn't salute that flag. And I don't remember what my response is. And he goes, well, I'm that boy's pappy. And my dad would said to him, because he was either on his horse or standing right next to me or something. And the guy, and whatever my dad told him, I don't remember now. Actually, I used to remember it. But anyways, so that guy ended up like becoming a pretty hardcore libertarian involved in the New York politics.
Awesome.
And we still know him till this day. I saw him like 2 years ago.
And it was all because you shattered that first assumption that it's just of paramount importance to kneel to the state?
Very much so. Also, my dad so I would have been about 17 at the time, 97. Maybe I was 16. My other brother was a year younger than me. Then I have another brother that would have been about 11 or 10. And I have another brother that would have been about 4 or 5, and we were all on horses.
Right.
And we all tacked up our horses, and we all helped everybody out with everything. And this particular guy was just like impressed that, like, you know, we're 5 to 17 years old and could do anything any adult could do, basically.
Right.
But the interactions didn't really start until he was like, you know, my pappy would have beat me or something like that. And guy's still a good friend of mine. And it's just, you know, I mean, but my dad raised us, you know, as libertarian anarchists. We didn't use the word anarchist back then, but the idea was, you know, we didn't have any rulers. And it was until we were 18, he was responsible for any damage we did. So he was very clear about that. You know, if we went and, you know, trashed someone's property or whatever, he had to pay for it, you know.
I mean, that's so much like the state, though. In schools, if you don't properly pledge allegiance or kneel for the flag or whatever it is they want you to do at that specific moment, their plan is to use violence in order to make you, just like his pappy would have used violence against him in order to make him not respect the flag, but obedient of it.
Yep.
I got threatened at a truck pull about 6 years ago for not saluting the flag. Rednecks are really intense about this.
They are indeed. 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. Let us know what you think about the flag and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. GoDark bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkbags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkbags.com/FTL.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-421000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Phone records, financial and location data, Prism, Tempora, X-Keyscore, Boundless Informant. Hey y'all, Scott Horton here for offnow.org. Now here's the deal. Due to the Snowden revelations, we have a great opportunity for a short period of time to get some real rollback of the national surveillance state. Now they're already trying to tire us by introducing fake reforms in the Congress. And the courts, they betrayed their sworn oaths to the Constitution and Bill of Rights again and again, and can in no way be trusted to stop the abuses for us. We've got to do it ourselves. How? We nullify it at the state level. It's still not easy, but the Off Now project of the 10th Amendment Center has gotten off to a great start. I mean it. There's real reason to be optimistic here. They've gotten their model legislation introduced all over the place, in state after state. I've lost count, more than a dozen. You're always wondering, yeah, but what can we do? Here's something important, something that can work if we do the work. Get started cutting off the NSA support in your state. Go to offnow.org.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. Take control of the airwaves and talk about whatever is on your mind. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Jay,
and Angie.
And we've been talking about the various failures of the public school system, or the public re-education camps.
The worship of the state. That's this. The state is just a religion.
Well, the schools are part of the state apparatus. However, people might like to think otherwise. And that's generally my issue with public schools, is that, society in general has formed this wall between what they consider to be educating and what they consider to be raising a child. But the truth is that your kids are going to end up spending 7 hours a day-ish with these adults who are, in every sense, raising them. They're teaching them social values, how to be moral, and all of these other things, and, how to be trans, evidently. Whether the parents like it or not, it's impossible for the public school system to differentiate between educating a child and raising that child.
And that's why I don't like the idea that literally a handful of men or women, but a handful of people somewhere in the district of criminals, are literally in charge of this Department of Education, and the Department of Education has essentially become a carrot dangled in front of every local school system in the country. We're not going to give you this money unless you do this, this, and this.
Well, let's get into the phones. We've got Andy calling from North Carolina. Andy, you're on Free Talk Live. Going once. Andy, are you there?
Sorry about that. This song must be from the Stone Age here.
All right. Well, A for effort. I don't know exactly what he even said. So anyway, the article is about how over the last several years this is coming from lifesitenews.com, a site that I'm not familiar with, but a dad is horrified as the public school system convinces his daughter that she's a boy and he can't stop it. So the article says that a recent example was detailed this month in USA Today. A suburban dad who lives just outside of Chicago. In April of 2016, when his 14-year-old daughter became convinced that she was in fact a boy, with the staff of the public school in Hindell's district number 86, that's a lot of districts for that, emphatically endorsing the delusion and opposing Keck's attempts to help his daughter every step of the way. Now, this is a difficult issue for all people, trans, cis, or whatever, because there's no good answer. It's going to permanently alter a person to go through puberty. Whether they're going through that puberty in accordance with their own biological programming, or if they're transgender and they're going through it because of blocking that biological programming and supplementing it with artificial hormones.
Could you call that like chemically induced puberty?
Sure, but I think in the most literal senses, it's chemically induced either way.
Well, that's true. There's all kinds of chemicals we can take to induce certain things, and then there's certain chemicals that just come along anyway.
There certainly are, but the issue with being trans is that once you're past puberty, the changes to your body as a result of undertaking hormone therapy are going to be minimal. So you're going to end up with an adult who is more or less permanently discontent with their body. Or, as people like to point out, they could undergo that transition and then come to regret it and end up permanently unhappy with their body. Both of which are bad things to happen. You know, whether you're dealing with a cis person who becomes trans and is unhappy with their body because they couldn't transition at an earlier age, which is what happened to me, right? I would give anything to be able to go back to when I was 12 years old and transition. Wasn't a possibility because I lived in Mississippi. So when I hear about teens like this, I'm torn on the subject because a lot of people don't like the idea of 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds transitioning. But anything after that is going to be almost pointless when it comes to physiological changes. If you're going to transition, it has to be done at an earlier age.
At what point did you know that you wanted to trans over?
4 years ago.
Okay.
So
how old were you then?
I'm not going to reveal my age.
Okay.
Older than I wished that I had been, basically. But anything after like 16 is going to involve minimal changes, no matter what you do. The younger you are, the better. As a fully grown adult, which I was at the time, changes are minuscule.
Now, do you think as a child, I'm a parent of 3 kids, do you feel that as a child that they truly know what they want at that age?
I did. I wasn't able to put it into words, but I certainly did.
Okay.
Going all the way back to at least when I was 3 years old, long before I'd even started kindergarten or started watching television, before I could have been influenced by any of these leftist media elements or the public school system or anything like that.
Okay.
I don't know how common that is among people. I just know my experience.
So it was something that you knew from a young child.
Right.
And it just took you a while in order to transition over because of where you lived or location or logistics.
Mostly the location and the fundamentalist Christianity that just pervades the South and made it absolutely impossible.
Right.
Leading to Pray the Gay Away camps and things like that several years in a row. It was not a lot of fun.
You went to those?
I did.
Oh, wow.
3 summers in a row. Yeah.
Did you make any friends?
I did. That was why I wasn't sent back for a 4th year. So going back to this article, the teenage girl who had evidently shown no indication of gender dysphoria or desire to be male throughout her childhood is on the autism spectrum, which just further complicates things.
Right.
I guess the question would be, where at on the spectrum is this person?
It said right on the borderline. So I guess right at the beginning of possibly autistic and possibly not autistic.
I mean, that could be a lot of people.
Yep.
I mean, you get it could be any one of us. I mean, if you got the right or the wrong, so-called expert, dealing out this spectrum and defining it. I don't even know what really, I got a good friend where I think he could be a little autistic. And I said that to him one day and he's like, oh, you're not the first one to tell me that. You're probably right, and then I got another friend who I called him autistic, and he had a fit.
Well, it is often used as an insult.
Yeah, I guess.
But it is a broad spectrum. You do have high-functioning autism, I think is what they call it, which it sounds like is more people along the borderline, and you also have the, I guess, low-functioning autism. I'm not an expert. Yeah. So I would understand that someone on that lower end of the spectrum would not really have the autonomy to make such a decision about how they want to live. But I would expect someone on the higher end to have it.
But maybe they could be influenced easier if they're possibly autistic.
That's true as well.
Especially when the teachers got them for literally, we got more of their attention than both parents probably do.
Oh, yeah, because once the kid gets home from school, they're going to be sat in front of a television. The average American child watches 5 hours of television a day.
Wow.
So they get home from spending 7 hours with the teacher, and then they go straight to Nickelodeon and
or their computer.
Yeah, or their computer, all of which have that same liberal bent to them.
I had to clean stalls when I got home, which was good, though. I appreciate it now.
Yeah.
That was definitely an improvement over watching television. Let us know what you think. 855-450-3733, or use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Talk about whatever is on your mind. Again, that number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria,
Jay,
and Angie.
And I want to take a moment to tell you about local.bitcoin.com because Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, which allows people to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash using dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or just meeting in person with cash. There is no KYC, to sign up for the site. That's Know Your Customer. So there's no ID requirements or any of that kind of nonsense. And all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. So no one can read your messages except people who have those private keys, which generally aren't even available to the end users, I don't think. I've never actually looked, but they actually respect your privacy. And that's awesome. I am very familiar with the site. I love it. I love everything about it. And I'm looking forward to its continuation and success. So go check it out. It's a great time to get involved in the site because it's still growing, it's still developing. Get into the Telegram room, take part in the construction of local.bitcoin.com. So we've been talking about this guy who they just call Keck, which I think is kind of funny given the whole Donald Trump, Pepe the Frog meme thing, Lord Keck or whatever they call him. Of course, it's spelled differently. It's K-E-C-K. But his daughter evidently chose a male name after not exhibiting any gender dysphoria characteristics throughout most of her life until she began hanging out with another girl who professed to be a boy trapped in a female body. And it was at that point that this kid decided that he was trans.
Does it say how old the kid is? Did I miss that? I've heard you say teenage. Okay, all right.
14 at the time, but I believe the child is 18 now, going by something they say later in the article. So the school staff, who had full knowledge of the mental health challenges of the child, began to treat the teenage girl as a male, referring to her as he and him. And when her parents finally discovered, all of this misgendering is in the article, by the way, and it takes way too much effort for me to try to fix it while reading it live. When they requested that their daughter be referred to by her legal name, the school ignored the wishes. That seems to me like, okay, then take your child out of public school, right?
I agree.
You would think,
Yep.
but, there's a lot of people can't get away from that government-subsidized daycare. It's just basically all it is at this point.
I mean, what would they expect at this point? It's like, okay, here's the wishes of the parents. Well, here's the wishes of the school. The school kind of determines what the school does, unfortunately. And whether that's right or wrong is kind of immaterial because they are opting, at least in most cases, they may not be aware that they're choosing to, but they're choosing to send their kid to the public school where this is what they're going to learn.
Right, and everybody has a choice. I mean, you can totally homeschool. I know a lot of people, they start homeschooling, the kids want to go to school, and I know a lot of people that take the kids right out of school and just start homeschooling them.
So evidently, when the father challenged all of this, the school administrator said that they were simply following the law, but there is no such law. Only a 2016 directive from the Obama administration that said schools need to officially affirm transgender students, which are guidelines that were blocked by a judge the same year and rolled back by the Trump administration in 2017, which doesn't surprise me at all. For whatever reason, the alt-right seems to hate Muslims, Jews, and trans people more or less equally. And I don't know what and women.
Well, I mean, that's the spin on the alt-right. I don't really know anybody that actually hates all those people, but I would consider them very much right.
What is the
Not
alt-right?
right, but, right wing.
Like Richard Spencer, Chris Cantwell, those types.
Okay, yes.
So as Keck described it, my daughter told me that the school social worker was advising her about halfway houses because he thought we did not support her. The social worker confirmed this when I scheduled a meeting with him to discuss it. This felt like a horrifying attempt to encourage our daughter to run away from home. We had our daughter evaluated by a psychologist approved by the school district. He told us that it was very clear that our daughter's sudden transgender identity was driven by her underlying mental health conditions, but he would only say that off the record because he feared the potential backlash he would receive. That's not a good place to be in.
No, absolutely not.
But he's not wrong. I imagine if a psychologist or therapist or whatever had concluded this, to say that publicly would lead to a public crucifix.
That'd be like a doctor saying, well, I got to give you this opiate for pain. I would rather prescribe you cannabis, but, I'm going to get investigated and yada, yada, yada. And people start looking at me because I know of a guy whose doctor told him that. And he says, off the record, if you can get cannabis, do that because opiates are a problem. But same thing. I mean,
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
So in the report, however, that the therapist submitted to the school, he did not include those concerns, and he said he would only share them in person, which isn't a surprise. The sort of witch hunting that goes on here in the United States today is such that if you were to say something like that, like this person isn't really trans, they just have this underlying mental health issue, your career is over. And you'll probably lose your medical license or your psychiatry license or whatever as a result of it.
The school would cut you off. If you work for the school or the education system, you would be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Evidently, the National Education Association, which I've never even heard of, has partnered with the Human Rights Campaign and other groups to produce materials advocating automatic affirmation of identities, name changes, and pronouns regardless of parents' concerns. In 18 states and the District of Columbia, there are conversion therapy bans which prevent therapists from questioning a child's gender identity. Now, that's not quite what conversion therapy is. Conversion therapy isn't about questioning it or not questioning it. It's about attempting to convert them one direction or the other. It was extremely popular in the 90s with gay conversion therapy, and it's generally considered to be abhorrent.
Did you say gay conversion therapy?
Yes.
Well, that's different than gender conversion therapy, right?
It can be.
So they're trying to convince people that they are not gay. Okay.
Are not gay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I didn't know if they're like someone who's like, because if someone who wants to trans, they would go through this transgender therapy, correct?
They would. They don't generally call that conversion therapy, though.
Oh, okay.
Which is what they're referring to for her.
Right. But
okay.
No, I think what they're referring to here is the idea that this person says they're trans and you're trying to convince them that they're not.
I understand.
Oh, okay. All right. So the gay therapy was to try to convince someone they're not gay?
Yeah, the gay conversion therapy.
The gay conversion. Okay, all right.
And it still happens in some parts like the Pray the Gay Away camps and things like that.
Right.
That's essentially, and the Republican Party in 2016 officially affirmed their support for conversion therapy in their planks, whatever they're called. I don't remember.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, just roll in shock therapy and, induce them with drugs and, things, right, or put them in an insane asylum and, with a bunch of other people who need to be converted, right?
Yeah, it often devolves into exactly that sort of thing.
Especially when you let government do it and it becomes a program that first they endorse the program, now they want to fund the program, and now we got to expand the program, and then you get like the likes of Bill Gates and IBM, and look what IBM did for the Nazis. What's going to stop them from helping cure the gay issue, right?
Well, nothing really. In fact, if Donald Trump has his way, based on how many of these conservatives and Republicans call me mentally ill with their implementation of these red flag laws, as they're calling them, I would completely lose my right to self-defense simply because of it.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have had a right to self-defense to begin with if they could just take it from you because,
right?
What they're saying there. So, and that's a whole different subject right there. I don't feel any of that stuff applies to me because I'm not part of their society or their system. In fact,
I would agree.
I've opted out of it.
There's this sort of meme going around on the internet. How many people have to die before you give up your rights or whatever? I'm like, just one. Just me.
Yeah.
Free Talk Live, let us know what you think about this entire debacle that is the trans thing in public schools. 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE as in Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. So it naturally has antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-infection, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. But maybe more importantly, Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea builds corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die in oxygen. The tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea is only $34.95 plus shipping. Order now at shopsupertea.com or call 818-984-6100. That's shopsupertea.com, 818-984-6100, shopsupertea.com.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. 855-450-3733, or use the Discord call-in lines that you can find at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Jay,
and Angie.
And I want to ask, if you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance, well, it's never been easier thanks to HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com, brought to you by the people at AnyPay. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. So if you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just go to HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com and follow the simple steps. Within moments, you'll be accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin Cash and Dash at your store. Get started now at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. It's a really awesome thing. When we were at ForkFest this last year, there were a number of vendors who were attempting to just take cryptocurrency payments directly using their mobile wallets and QR codes and all of that. And it was bulky, unwieldy, inconvenient. They signed up for AnyPay using helpmetakebitcoin.com and just instantly were able to use it and accept cryptocurrency in a way that was streamlined, quick, and easy. It's absolutely incredible. And participating retailers, if you visit them, you can actually get 10% back if you use Bitcoin Cash.
So there's a Bitcoin Cash incentive now. This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Yes, there is a Bitcoin Cash back. I know it functions at Local Burger and Corner News here in Keene. I don't know where else. I mean, you have to actually be a brick and mortar business in order to qualify for it. But yes, all of the places that do Dashback should also be doing Bitcoin Cashback.
Well, the place you could buy gas at with cryptocurrency, I'll be sure to tell them about the. They're not set up with any pay yet. I've been kind of working on them a little bit. Grandma is one of the owners of the business, so she's like not quite on board yet. And
now this is the gas station that has the employees that will take crypto. But okay.
So there's two grandsons, dad and grandma. They're all partners.
Very cool.
And the two sons are in the are in the cryptocurrency. And a friend of mine went there the other day, and just the dad was there. Oh, and he told me, he's like, I'm gonna get one of those wallets. I said, well, your kids know how to set you up. How come you haven't done it yet already?
Yeah.
And I've been telling him, hey, you got to get on AnyPay. Now I'm going to go tell them about the 10% with Bitcoin Cash.
Absolutely, because the vendors get that back as well.
And there's another place I was talking to that I had mentioned, General's Tavern, which is another one in Ware. And we have a free Ware meeting there on the first and second Thursday of the month. And in Ware, New Hampshire. And I told those guys about how Dash does a 10% incentive occasionally. And
it is hit and miss.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not always. I don't want to, promise something that isn't. And I will tell her actually tomorrow because she's like very interested in taking cryptocurrency. New people got to business, and the daughter, it's a mother and daughter that are running it. So I could tell them about that tomorrow. That's great. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Awesome. So we've been talking about the transgender curriculum, as the article here at LifeSite News describes it, saying that the introduction of the transgender curriculum in public schools is quite literally resulting in the recruitment of children to the transgender cause. Now, this is another interesting thing I've been observing. You have people like Chris Cantwell and other people on the alt-right who insist that, transgenderism is being pushed to us and it's on the rise. I don't know whether or not that's true, or if people are just no longer hiding it, and that the rate is essentially the same as it's always been. Like, being gay is not a new thing, but people are more open about being gay now.
Because it's more accepted.
Right. So is the number of gay people actually increasing as a result of what they call the gay agenda? Or is it just that, they aren't being stoned to death any longer, so they're like, hey, I'm gay?
Maybe a little. Well, I wouldn't say the number of gay people increasing due to the gay agenda, but there are some people who talk, and I'm not an expert on this. It's just articles I read and people I talk to. But like that, like my wife, for example, doesn't want me consuming any soy products because it's like suppresses testosterone.
Interesting.
And she's done a lot of research on this, and she's like. She says it'll drive your sex drive. It'll put your sex drive down. It will, suppress testosterone. Now, when I worked in Colorado, there's a chemical that's widely used called atrazine. And atrazine, they put it on dry ground, and it's sprayed on. It's mixed in with water. It's sprayed on, and for 2 years, nothing grows. Nothing. This atrazine is like really bad stuff. Well, this is what
sounds like it.
What it causes amphibians to be both male and female. You can literally take tadpoles and put a little atrazine into their environment.
So this is what Alex Jones is talking about with making the frogs gay?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he ever... I don't think I used to listen to Alex Jones quite a bit. I'm not sure that he ever said the word gay, but it definitely...
He did. They did a remix of it with music and stuff. It's great. It's one of the best things on the internet. I'll send it to you sometime.
So there was some study...
But he's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong about atrazine. And atrazine is a chemical that is like... Dryland farmers all over the United States, and this is another thing that could not happen without government. Atrazine is approved. It is part of what's called Monsanto growing practices, which is what you have to exercise.
Well, Monsanto is Satan.
Correct, but in order to get crop insurance, which is how government, how Republican welfare whores get crop subsidies is through what's called crop insurance. And in order to get crop insurance, you must prove that you're following Monsanto certified crop growing practices. So this is the use of Roundup. This is the use of atrazine. And the reason, like how
what purpose is the atrazine supposed to serve in this process? I would imagine it's generally considered a bad thing for the land to be infertile.
So it's a herbicide, and what they do is, for example, in Nebraska, Kansas, and western Nebraska, western Kansas, and eastern Colorado, and Wyoming is basically high desert. It doesn't rain much. So these farmers have what's called dry land. There's no irrigation to it. There's no water rights on it. And every 2 years, they'll grow a crop of wheat, for example, on the dry land. And after they grow a crop of wheat, after they harvest it, they'll take it and they'll spray atrazine on it. And then the atrazine will not allow anything to grow, anything at all, for 2 years. So what happens is the idea is that any moisture that goes into the ground stays there. Weeds don't just suck the ground dry, or grasses or whatever.
Okay.
And then 2 years, because it only rains enough to support a crop every 2 years, is basically what the science is. So atrazine is part of this Monsanto
a specific
stuff.
crop or a rotation
corn,
of crops?
Well, there's only a couple of crops you can really grow in that area, and it's usually corn and wheat.
Okay.
And that's about it. And usually they'll grow wheat for one season. The field will take a season off, and then they'll grow wheat like 3 or 4 times, and then after 3 or 4 wheat crops every other year, they'll put in a crop of corn, and then they'll go back to wheat.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll grow some dry land grasses like sorghum and sudex for feed or whatever.
So the atrazine is supposed to be a way of sort of forcing them to give the soil a season off.
Exactly. So you don't have to go through there and either burn the weeds or mow them or whatever.
But it makes frogs intersex.
It basically it tremendously disrupts the reproduction cycle of all amphibians and reptiles, and with the frogs specifically, because frogs are dissected and studied tremendously. They absorb things like through their skin. So they're most of those amphibians are, going to react to pretty much anything.
Sure.
So anyways, atrazine is basically, it's in a lot of the water. It's all down the Mississippi River in the Mississippi Delta area, because all that heartland of the United States are spraying that crap everywhere, so it's all washing. And then so atrazine is a chemical. Almost all these farmers I worked with in Colorado is kind of one of the reasons I quit. I told my stepdad I'd give him 3 to 5 years. 2 years I was done. Guys my age and younger are on low testosterone shots once a week. But they're just constantly messing with like Roundup and all these other chemicals, which I refuse to touch any of the spray rigs,
right,
and stuff like that. But and then there's a lot of agenda about like feeding baby boys soy based formula suppresses the testosterone. And then also, but soy is beneficial for women because it has I forget my wife calls it. It's like an estrogen
booster,
something like that. Yeah, so it increases estrogen or something. And so there's a lot of and soy is something that shouldn't even be being used as a food for humans, as far as I'm concerned. But because of government subsidies,
what's wrong with soy?
Here we are consuming it.
Well, soy is first off, it's government subsidized, so it's a bad food.
I cannot argue with that logic.
So there's a lot of problems with soy. Soy has some toxicity levels to it. Soy, they say fermented soy is okay, but basically the soy really messes with like hormones. This is a lot of the reason, like fried chicken is why you've seen a lot of girls that are 8 years old with large breasts, because of the soy and the hormones having to do with the soy.
Well, we're also pumping enormous amounts of hormones into chickens and cows and pigs and all of these other things.
Hormone, soy, which is mega hormone stuff. I can't tell you why it's really bad off the top of my head, but
855-450-3733. Let us know what you think.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Ever wanted to hook up with an attractive woman, but you couldn't because you were already in a monogamous relationship? Ever wanted to work when you wanted to work instead of having to report to an office when you would rather have done something else? There's another way to live. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
There are basically 2 types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,497, silver at $16.96, and Bitcoin is trading around $11,358. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing 1 or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Jeffrey Epstein is dead, with multiple reports Saturday morning alleging that the disgraced financier committed suicide in his Manhattan jail cell. The 66-year-old Epstein's death comes after the disgraced financier was arrested on multiple child sex trafficking charges. Fox News reports Epstein's death was confirmed to the Associated Press by the Manhattan Medical Examiner's Office. His attorney did not immediately offer confirmation following media requests. Epstein 2 weeks ago was placed on suicide watch after he was found injured in his jail cell. It's never been explicitly confirmed whether the injuries were due to a suicide attempt or an attack. According to the New York Times, Epstein, who had strong ties to elite society, was indicted in July with sex trafficking girls as young as 14 years old. Accusations had followed him for years regarding allegations of a for-pay sexual lifestyle involving young girls. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Monsanto operated an intelligence gathering fusion center to discredit journalists and activists, including singer Neil Young, and paid Google to bury results in its search engine, according to a report from The Guardian. Activist Post reports that Bayer Monsanto had kept a file of 200 names, including journalists and lawmakers, in hopes of influencing their positions on pesticides, according to French prosecutors. The Guardian's expose says Monsanto spied on journalists using a fusion center-type operation and paid Google to hide negative results. The documents originate from 2015 to 2017 and were disclosed as part of one of numerous ongoing court battles on the health hazards of the company's Roundup weed killer. According to the Guardian report, Monsanto PR staff internally talked about putting pressure on the Reuters news agency, stating they should, quote, continue to push back on Gillum's editors very strongly every chance we get, end quote. In a shocking move, Chase Bank on Thursday announced it's going to be forgiving all outstanding credit card debt from its Canadian customers, according to a report from Yahoo Finance. The bank, in 2018, closed all of its credit card accounts in Canada. The Mind Unleashed reports that when the accounts were initially closed, customers were told to continue paying down their debt. Now they're being told by the company that their debt is canceled. CBC talked to some customers who got letters from the bank. Douglas Turner of Cohill, Ontario, who still owed about $4,500, said he was sort of over the moon all night with a smile on his face. The bank had previously offered reward cards for both Amazon and Marriott in Canada. Maria Martinez, Vice President of Communications for Chase Card Services, said the bank could have sold the debt, but that forgiving it, quote, was a better decision for all parties, including, and most importantly, our customers, end quote. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Turning to health news, doctors at Johns Hopkins Medical School have discovered that bones are the coolest part of the body. The 10-year study found that although the body has many cool things in it, nothing is cooler than your skeleton.
Just think about it. You have this soft, fleshy body, but inside of it, there's a second, tinier body that's made out of a super hard rock. Our data is conclusive. Bones are very, very cool.
To conduct the study, researchers examined every single body part and determined how cool or uncool it was.
We initially thought the brain might be the coolest part because it's like a computer that runs on food. But when we looked at it up close, it was all gross and wrinkled. Brains are not cool. Bones are cool.
Doctors discovered that there are big, strong bones like baseball bats in your arms and legs, hand bones that look like a monster claw, and skull bones that make a scary face. Doctors did caution that as cool as human bones are, they're not nearly as cool as dinosaur bones.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and you can talk about whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Jay.
And Angie.
And before we move on from this discussion of the trans kid who may or may not be trans, but who was convinced by or who was reinforced by the school system, and so now is a trans person for all intents and purposes. Angie, you brought in the article. What is your take on the overall, just everything regarding it?
Well, I have a 14-year-old, and he's a boy, and if he was at school and he came to me, I would hope that he would come to me and say, hey, Mom, I want to be a girl or a woman. Or if he went to someone in the school and it told them that, I would expect them to call me and contact me. I would not. If it came from him, I would be okay with it. But if the school contacted me, I'd want to know how they knew. Did he go to them or did they put the idea in his head? I don't have a problem with my kids being one sex or the other. I think I've raised them pretty well, and I have a good feeling that they're going to be who they are no matter what, because, they were unschooled for many years and they live out of the box, even though they do go to public schools. They know they have their own thoughts and they believe in their own freedoms. But, as far as this story goes, I feel that the school was completely incorrect in what they did and that they should have immediately called the parents and said, hey, there's this thing going on. I think you should come in and we should talk to you.
Schools are famous for decades now. They've been pushing stuff. Like, for example, the only reason college has become so insanely popular in the past several decades is because I graduated high school in 98, and the guidance counselors were constantly pushing college, constantly. And now I got a little sister. She's in college now, but her whole thing. She just graduated 2 years ago, and it was pushed to be basically a sports ball professional of whatever. She plays softball. I got a little brother who plays volleyball, and like that's the agenda. I mean, these kids, like, they grew up on a 1,000-acre farm in the Midwest, and they have no like work skills, and because it was all about sports ball, with them. And
interesting.
But when I was in school, all my buddies that went to college, I got friends that got 8 years of college that, were working for me 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago for extra money because McDonald's wasn't, paying them enough, and because their whatever it was, computer graphics or their thing that they went to college for was just so swamped. There's just way too many of these people doing all the same stuff because that's what the guidance counselors were pushing. And
I mean, that's similar to what I ran into. I had the same push of guidance counselors. It wasn't even questioned in my generation. It was just, you graduate high school and then you go to college. That's just what you do. What I do today, though, is only tangentially related to what I went to school for. I went to school for management of information systems. I have a bachelor's degree in that. After dropping out of high school, I ended up going on to college because high school was a complete and total waste of time. I thought maybe college wouldn't be. It was, for the most part. I learned more in a year of real-world experience and doing that type of work, which I probably wouldn't have been able to get my foot in the door to do if I hadn't gone to college for it in the first place. But within a year of actually doing IT service work, I learned more than I did during those 4 years of college.
And the whole apprenticeship thing, is just, I think, just a much better path for most anyone because it doesn't cost you anything to be apprentice. And especially right now, pretty much any skill that you be an apprentice in, they'd be really happy to pay you, $10, $12 an hour just to help out or something, But you could even if a guy couldn't afford to pay you, you could go work for him for nothing. He might buy you, lunch or something, but at least you'd learn some kind of skill.
That's true. So the contention here is that public school systems are essentially teaching children to be transgender in the same way that they taught them to go to college or to
worship the flag, to worship the police, to ask permission to make sure you look in the blue pages was a thing that we were taught in high school. You know what the blue pages are?
I have no idea.
So in your phone book, you had blue pages, which was all the departments and the governments. So if, like, for example, what was this? It was like a home economics class or something. It was like, so you have a house and you're thinking about buying a dog or getting a dog. That's what it was. The first thing you should do is look in the blue pages for like a dog permit, I think it was, or something. And
see, that's been a weird adjustment to me being outside of Mississippi. Because in Mississippi, you can get whatever animal you want if you can find said animal. Just about. I mean, I think it's illegal to have like a tiger.
Well, maybe. They just want, like, and you can have a dog, but all these towns want you to go get a dog license, for example. And that was like one of the things.
And this is a license for you to be friends with another living creature.
Yep, I went to court in New Hampshire over a dog license.
How did that? Tell us about that.
Well, I had a dog, and she got loose, and we couldn't find her. She was about 7 houses down from me, heading toward my house the next morning, and a state trooper picked her up and took her to the Humane Society. And I called around that morning, found out that she was at the Humane Society, went to pick her up, and then I got a citation from the local cops. And the chief, of course, I believe is a Free Stater, or he has come to some Free State gatherings that I have been at before he was the chief of police there. And he was very nervous coming to me. He wouldn't come to my house. I was pregnant. And finally he came. I was shoveling snow, and I had my baby, and she was in the NICU. And he was like, Angie, I have paperwork for you have to go to court. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll be right here shoveling snow. Just bring it back. And he did. But I guess it went on for about 6 months before they served me to go to court. And I went to court, and the judge ruled that the dog was mine, and that I had to register the dog or proof of transferring of the dog within 30 days. And 30 days went by, and I completely forgot about it. And I guess about the 36th day, maybe, I sent in paperwork saying, oh, it's not my dog, it's Michael's dog. Look, he's got the rabies certification. And I never registered the dog, never had to pay a fine. Nothing ever came of it other than I sent in paperwork to the court saying, hey, it's not my dog. Same thing I told you when I was standing in front of you. Now, the first time I sent Michael to court because I was not going because I had just had the baby. I'm like, I'm not wasting my time there. So he goes, tells the judge, hey, she's not here. This is my dog. And he's like, the judge said, well, she still has to come to court. So they continued it. I went to court the next time, and the minute they called me, I was breastfeeding. And so the minute they called me, I stood up, full courtroom, walk up there with the baby on my boob, and I'm standing in front of the judge, and she's just staring at me. I answer her questions, and she says, how do you plead? And I'm like, I want to take it to trial. And so the baby, the entire time, is nursing, and she says, okay, sets a trial date. I turn around, and I hear somebody in the thing going, oh my God, she's nursing. And I turn around and I walk out of the court, and, cameras were rolling because I think Ian and Daryl and stuff was there. And I sit down on the bench and finish nursing. And the next time, same thing happens. Molly's hungry. And I'm like, well, she's got to eat. But ended up.
So did you get your court date and your trial?
Yeah, I did. And that's when they said I had 30 days to send in the registration of the dog. And I didn't. We had moved, and I just sent in 36 days later, I sent in Michael's proof of rabies of the dog and said, on a little letter, I said, this is not my pet. This shows that it's not my dog. Here you go. And so they wasted their time with the cops coming to court. They wasted their time because they came 3 different times and never got any money.
And all of this...
Thank you for your activism.
Yes.
All of this was because you didn't fill out the proper paperwork to let the state know that you have this creature that accompanies you.
Yeah, that's it. And I ask them, are they going to buy dog food? Are they going to pick up poop? If they want to help and contribute, then yeah, I'll be happy to pay them. But they're not going to do that.
Public schools push compliance. They indoctrinate you to be compliant. They indoctrinate you to think that you'll never get anywhere without going to college, that you won't be of any worth, or being, a sports ball, whatever.
Jock,
yeah, I guess a jock, yeah. I'm just, so disgusted by, the agendas that are just pushed, and they're constantly pushed, and I have no evidence that they're trying to convince young children to be... a sex other than what they, physically were born as. But I could see the agenda being there.
I would certainly agree. I don't know if there's any sort of deliberate effort to push it, but just knowing that so many of these teachers did go to these universities and they were leaning left when they came out of these universities, and now they're educating children. So yeah, that's going to be what they propagate. 855-450-3733.
I am giving away $100 in Bitcoin Cash on September 2, 2019. And I'm not giving it away because I like giving away money. Quite the contrary. It's because I need a favor. Please go to demo.freetalklive.com and fill out the survey there as thoroughly as you like. There's an optional email slot, and if you put your email in there, you will forever be signed up for whatever prize I'm giving to incentivize people that month to fill out my form. Advertisers need this info on our listeners, so fill it out as truthfully as you can, please. Demo.freetalklive.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
If you're looking for work, you know what I mean by elevator speech. It's the short version, saying just enough to make the listener want to listen more. Even if you're not a job seeker, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. So to cut through the clutter, choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Instead of saying, due to the fact that, say, because. And avoid mispronunciations. Say jewelry, not jewelry, which could offend. Undoubtedly, you don't want to say undoubtedly. And whatever you do, never use a preposition to end a sentence with. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Talk about whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Jay.
And Angie.
And speaking of freedom, I want to tell you about Freedom's Phoenix. It's a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. So if you want the newest and freshest stories and perspective on current events from those who value liberty, then freedomsphoenix.com has it. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending. There's a very long list of anything that libertarians may be interested in, especially the rise of the police state. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. Again, that's freedomsphoenix.com. Now, I feel like we should probably move on here from the whole kid being trans or not trans or whatever, to this cop, evidently, who threw a handcuffed man into a lake and then watched him drown.
Yep.
That's absolutely appalling. Do you happen to have it in front of you?
Not immediately, but I know that he picked the gentleman up for an OWI.
What is an OWI?
Operating while impaired, maybe?
Operating a vehicle?
No, I think he was on the water.
Okay.
And the
on the water on like a jet ski or like in a boat or something.
You know, I'm not
Just
exactly
swimming?
sure what he was on.
Has anyone on an aquatic vessel ever been sober?
Well, I
'Cause
thought
that's
that was the point of going out.
That's like the
Bring a
first thing
drink.
I've always done.
And they picked the gentleman up for an OWI, and the cop put the wrong life vest on him. And he was going fast over some of the wake, and the gentleman bumped out of the boat, and he had handcuffs on. And a passerby, like a ski boat, saw him and was like, they threw him a like a life vest or like a raft, trying to say, hey, grab this. And they didn't know he was handcuffed. And then the officer was standing there, and he put a pole out, but he knew the guy was handcuffed, and he watched him go down under the water and drown. Never jumped in, never attempted to save him, and the guy died. He was like a 20 or 21-year-old white male, and the police officer was a black police officer.
Do we have important details like the police department, their phone number?
Yep, let me grab it.
And the cop's name? Because I think that this business line for this police department should just ring nonstop with people's...
The story was from the freethoughtproject.com. I'm just waiting for it to come up. It says the cop who threw handcuffed man into lake and watched him drown gets only 10 days in jail. It was from Versailles, Missouri. Nearly 2 years after Trooper Anthony Piercy was charged in the death of Brandon Ellingson, who drowned in the lake of the Ozarks with his hands cuffed behind his back, the case has been closed. Predictably, the offending officer is getting off with less than a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, 10 days in jail.
And he gets to do that in 2-day stints. He doesn't have to serve 10 consecutive days. For handcuffing a college student negligently, casting him into the lake and watching him as he drowned, Trooper Piercy avoided an involuntary manslaughter trial after pleaded guilty to a simple boating violation in June.
A boating violation?
Yep, that's what they got him
I
for.
imagine it is some sort of violation to bind people, put them in an improper life jacket, and then stand there as they drown.
Yeah, he didn't try to save him.
I'm sure they investigated themselves. And all they came up with was it was an improper boating violation. I mean, it wasn't murder, or, manslaughter or anything like that. I mean, if that happened to any of us who were involved, if we were just on the boat and like somebody fell off and drowned, it would probably be like some heavy duty investigation. But if we actually tied somebody up and put their life vest on wrong, even if they were being a belligerent a-hole and we needed to get them out of control and that happened, I mean, and especially there's eyewitnesses that like are watching this guy drown and the cops are watching this guy drown. I mean, but the Supreme Court has ruled that they have no obligation to protect you.
No, they don't. But isn't there some exception to that if they're the one who deliberately puts you in
you are right.
harm's way?
It was last week on the show. We had read, Mark had found something that said the only time they have an obligation to protect you is when you are in their custody.
Yep.
That is correct. Yes.
Well, he was definitely in their custody at that point.
He was. It says that this week, Piercy was sentenced for his role in Ellingson's death, and he received just 10 days in jail. The judge referred to this insultingly low sentence of 10 days as shock time. According to the Kansas City Star, in addition to the shock time in the Morgan County Jail, Judge Roger Prokes sentenced Trooper Anthony Pierce to 2 years of supervised probation and ordered him to complete 50 hours of community service.
Now, what is shock time? Are either of you familiar with that terminology?
Nope.
No, I'm assuming that it's just the 10 days to shock him into believing that what he did was wrong. It says that Piercy will serve time in jail in 5 2-day increments with his first stint scheduled to begin this Friday. To the Ellingson family and those who've been following the case, it's a kick in the teeth. 10 days is like a vacation, Craig Ellison said. It's a joke. He knows he's guilty and he's dang lucky to get what he got. As the Stars reports, Special Prosecutor William Say requested Piercy receive 30 days in jail and have his law enforcement certification revoked for life.
At minimum, right?
Special Prosecutor. Yeah, he was there especially to make sure that this, cop was well taken care of. I wonder what kind of dirt the cop has on some local, politicians. Do you even need to have any dirt on local politicians to get away with murder as a cop?
Well, they're all on the same side.
Yeah.
So probably not. But the way this paints it, the special prosecutor was actually seeking a tougher sentence.
That's a joke.
For 30 days.
For murder?
That is a joke.
A guy die?
Yeah. It's better than 10 days.
I hope the family sues the crap out of this cop. And what is the name of that city again? Maybe you can spell that out.
Versailles, I believe.
Versailles, it's Versailles.
And that's Missouri?
M.O., isn't that Missouri?
I think so.
Yep.
So the guy wanted, the special prosecutor, William Say, wanted Piercy to receive 30 days in jail and have his law enforcement certification revoked for life.
Right.
Neither of those things happened. However,
Nope.
the guy is still a cop.
He is, and he gets 5 2-day stints. Says, I wish...
So basically on his days off...
Yep, he gets to go in and serve his 2 days, and then he gets to go back to doing his whatever he does.
Which is throw people off boats and watch them drown.
I was just told it's called Versailles, the name of the city, Versailles.
So even if they had gotten what they asked for, which is the 30 days and you can't be a cop anymore. That's still an extremely light sentence for this level of, if nothing else, outright negligence.
Right. Can you imagine if we would have done that to someone? We would have served much more than 30 days.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the fact that the guy was handcuffed by the police, who then, I mean, he could not swim.
No.
Right. Did they at least handcuff him in the front?
No, behind his back.
On a boat.
Yep, and the officer put the incorrect life vest on the gentleman, and that's why he drowned.
I found their phone number on the internet.
You found who?
The Versailles, Missouri Police Department phone number.
Well, let's go ahead and share that with the audience.
How about right after the commercial, so we'll make it nice and clear. Stay tuned.
855-450-3733. What do you think about these cops getting away with actual murder? Whether they mean to murder someone or not. That's what this is. 855-450-3733. Or use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com. Free Talk Live.
We have been brought forward to bring out the truth.
I knew this was all right. What is the truth?
No, it's in the 2 books.
Oh, you've got to buy the books. Now, how much is somebody going to have to pay for these books?
It's right online. Depending on what country you're in, they're $26 a piece here in the United States, including freight.
Now, why would God put books out and require people to pay for them? What's the point in that? I mean, aren't there people out there that can't afford that?
Those of us here on Earth have had to put the material together and get it copyrighted and available.
Why would God want to copyright something? What's the point of that? I mean, wouldn't God want
anything on this planet has to be copyrighted to be put out legally by
That's
your
not true.
government
Not true at
laws
all.
on this
Not
planet.
true, sir. Nope. You can put
Will
whatever
you
you
please
want
let
out
me
there.
explain?
No, you let me explain, because whatever you want, you can put online, and nobody's going to tell you can't do it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Talk about whatever is on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Jay.
And Angie.
And Jay, you have a phone number from people that is, we're told, is Versailles or
Versailles. It's Versailles.
Well, I mean, Versailles would be the correct one, but the people of Missouri, because they're Missouri Hicks. No offense to our Missouri listeners. I'm joking. I'm from Mississippi. Okay, I know Hicks. Pronounce it like Versailles. I think that's
Versailles.
Versailles.
And that's probably how I'd pronounce it. Versailles. You know, if I didn't know, you know, what, if I hadn't heard it before. But anyways, their business number, and I hope you all got your pens ready.
Is this for the
police department?
Okay.
This is off their Facebook page. And you can go to their Facebook page, and there's all kinds of wonderful comments about the conduct of these particular officers.
Really?
Yeah. There's just a few of them I was reading off earlier, but people are disgusted with them, and why can't they just respect the Constitution? You know. But anyways, it's area code 573-378-4634, and you know, maybe it'd be good to give their business line a call, and you know, let them know how you feel about an officer getting 10 days of, you know, basically a Jeffrey Epstein style, you know, prison sentence, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, his was even cushier
right.
than Epstein's, yeah.
Well, yeah, Epstein, you know, he only had, he was let out of the can for 12 hours a day, I guess. But anyways, let them know how you feel about, you know, their cop just, you know, being incompetent and literally murdering a dude. Because if it was you, you know, I don't know if they have death sentence in Missouri, but, you know, you'd be sitting in jail for a very long time.
Let's go into the phones. We've got Sarah calling in from Roland.
Hi.
Home up. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi. Okay, I was just talking to someone, and I was just saying to the guy, I didn't understand what the purpose was of you all when you were talking about this poor kid that, you know, fell over in the water with the boat and the officer and stuff. But the thing that struck me from y'all's conversation was that you all had to say this was a black officer who killed a white kid, and from that accident. And my concern was all these black kids that are getting killed by white officers. I don't hear y'all talk about that. I've listened to your radio station back and forth, and y'all don't do a lot of talk about that. And it doesn't matter. I do not care if y'all discuss it or not, but it's just the fact that if y'all put the negative spin on there about this man's race and he did this and he did that, you know, that's not doing any good to anyone. This officer could have been an outstanding officer, but y'all want to blemish it by saying he killed
Gotta
this
drop
kid.
you can't say things like that on the air. Sorry, I hit the dump button before the drop button. Yeah, you can't say things like that on the air. But to address your point, I don't know why the article mentioned that it was a black cop and a white victim.
I missed that, but I'm colorblind, I guess, when it comes to those things because, and honestly, I would much rather deal with a black cop any day.
Sure.
Because, like in fact, when I had a jury trial once, I requested an all-black jury because, you know, I feel that black people might understand freedom a little better, seeing how, you know, they may have had a great-grandfather or grandmother that may have been a slave. And that's kind of like a lot how I would, you know, correlate some things in front of a jury. And, you know, it was an all-white jury, which I objected to. And they couldn't understand why I wanted the black jury. You know, they thought it was irrelevant.
The cultural tendencies are important, and Black Americans, I mean, especially in the South, where they were exposed to systemic racism by the state, by the government, going back centuries, they are more distrustful of the governmental system than your average white person.
Yep, and I've noticed that, and even like talking with
as they should be, by the way,
like normies that are black normies, they get like the ideas of libertarianism, better than like white normies, because the white normies, they're like feel they're above, but definitely black people are like, I wouldn't try the stuff you try, I get shot right away. They like know they got to be really careful around cops because they know they're a target.
There was once when I was pulled over in Mississippi by a state trooper. I don't remember why. I had a loaded .38 in my console, and he asked me for my insurance information, and that just happened to be, through poor planning on my part, that happened to be where I kept my insurance information. In fact, underneath the .38. So it was really bad planning, but the state trooper there parked on the interstate, standing by my window. I popped it open, and there's a loaded .38 sitting right there. So I immediately, snapped it shut, threw up my hands, was like, hey, loaded gun here. I have to move it to get the insurance card. And I walked away from that just fine, or I drove away from it rather. But I never forgot that if I had been black, I probably would have been shot on sight.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely reasons to call into the issue here, the races of the people involved. However, we can't forget that it's an issue with cops. And the caller there, before she went on to say things that you can't say on radio, said the cop might be some fine, upstanding citizen who demonstrably is not a fine, upstanding citizen.
Well, the other thing that we should clarify is you're just reading an article. You didn't put any spin on it whatsoever. It was just a text of the article as you were reading it. And I honestly don't even remember hearing anything about,
Well, it was mentioned once, and casually, offhandedly. It's not like we sat here talking about it for 30 minutes, right? In the same way that we do when a white cop shoots an unarmed black man, which we should talk about, right?
Yeah, anytime a cop shoots anybody that's unarmed, especially, I mean, the police are just kill people all the time, and they get away with it because there is no accountability when you have this special privilege of being a shiny badger.
I saw a report compilation. I didn't actually click it, but it was a compilation of various reports that suggested that police officers had become one of the leading causes of death, one of the top 10 causes of death in the United States.
Yeah, I saw one the other day. It said the top death of men.
That may have been it.
Is police officers, and it didn't say white, black, or whatever. It just said men.
No, because 95% of the people murdered by police are men.
Yeah.
But I noticed we don't have like a male lives matter, although we probably should.
Yeah,
because,
we should.
I mean, it is extremely skewed, but, there is the sociological tendency that if somebody is going to be a threat to another person, they are primarily going to be a male.
Yep.
So that sort of statistic isn't exactly fair when it comes to police shooting primarily men, at the very least.
I guess if it's a female, they feel that they can overpower the female, and so they can take control of the situation a little easier than if it's a male.
Speaking of male versus female, or what roles they play, that was one thing these guys were... Actually, on my way to the show, I was listening to these guys talking about Epstein's recruiters. And his recruiters would go get these young girls.
Oh, yeah, he had a madame and everything.
Right, but they had women that were recruiters because... And then they were talking about in these human trafficking circles that 45% of the people that are convicted or found within participating in human trafficking are women, because women will walk up to these predatory women who are recruiting or part of the trafficking rings, literally go up to these young girls or young boys and be like, hey, you want me to help you find your mommy? So the idea that it's some dude in a van strolling around nabbing kids is I guess not really the issue, to where 45% of it is actually women grabbing these kids with this sex trafficking. I mean, just something I just heard on the radio driving here. I think it was on NPR. I heard it too, actually.
I imagine it's also true that children in particular are more inclined to trust women.
Absolutely.
And so women are probably more successful.
Well, and that's it.
More is the pity. Yeah. But the inverse statistic of 95% of men being people shot by police are men is that 95% of people raped by police are women, which also happens with alarming regularity because that's what the police are. They are thugs. They are enforcers. They are violent criminals, members of a criminal enterprise that is oppressing us and terrorizing us.
Aren't most rape victims women, anyways?
I think so.
I mean, I never done the statistics, but
855-450-3733.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally caught up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world. That bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 800-590-4930. 800-590-4930, 800-590-4930. That's 800-590-4930.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into their rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. You ain't gonna make it. Wait a minute.
Holy crap.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airwaves and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Jay.
And Angie.
And we've been discussing this state trooper who, on May the 31st of 2014, so more than 5 years ago at this point, arrested a guy under suspicion of operating while intoxicated and placed the wrong life jacket over the handcuffed dude's torso.
So this is a state trooper, not a Versailles police officer?
I don't know if it said state trooper, but it was a cop.
They refer to him as a trooper.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. It could be
a water trooper.
Yeah.
Super trooper.
So Piercy then drove his patrol boat away from the scene at a high rate of speed because cops are always speeding everywhere and it totally doesn't count. Ellingson, the guy in question, was thrown from the boat when it struck a wake. The life jacket came off and he drowned while his hands were in handcuffs and the state trooper just sort of watched.
Right, and it says that Piercy is still a cop and is merely on unpaid leave. What happens now with Piercy's employment is a personal issue, said Lieutenant Paul Reinsch of the Star. During the proceedings, Craig Ellingson finally got to address the man responsible for taking the only thing in the world that mattered, his son. Almost immediately, he began to cry as he read through a 3-page statement. Anthony Piercy, it has been almost 3.5 years that I've waited to tell you face to face that you're the reason my son Brandon is dead. On May 31st, 2014, Trooper Piercy arrested Ellingson under suspicion of OWI and negligently placed the wrong life jacket over the handcuffed 20-year-old's torso. Piercy then drove his patrol boat away from the scene at a high rate of speed. Ellingson was thrown from the craft when it struck a sizable wake. The life jacket came off, and he drowned with his hands still in cuffs while Piercy callously watched on. Go ahead.
That's kind of loaded. He may or may not have just sort of watched on. It's unclear. I don't know if actually I have to retract that because it sounds accurate based on how the people came by and was like, hey, will you extend a pole or something? And he did, despite knowing that the guy was literally incapable of grabbing said pole.
You'd almost need to have a gaff hook, and hopefully you wouldn't gut the poor guy when you grabbed him. Maybe, get him by, I don't know, the handcuff or something and pull him up. The gaff hook, I don't know if you know what that is. You use them fishing to, pull the fish out of the water so you don't break your fishing line. But I mean, a pole. What good's an oar if your hands are handcuffed? Or a stick.
Behind your back. At that.
Yeah.
It does say that during the investigation, it was determined that Piercy did little to nothing as he watched Ellingson drown.
I wish I could pretend to be surprised, but cops are terrible people
and low IQ,
and they beat their wives.
Says Piercy did not jump in to save him. When a bachelorette party passed on a nearby boat, the passengers threw Ellingson a life ring, but they didn't know that his son was handcuffed, Craig said. Piercy didn't say he was handcuffed. The woman told investigators that they screamed at Piercy to extend a pole to Ellingson, which he did, but he knew that he was handcuffed. Piercy did not call a supervisor for help until after an hour of Ellingson drowning. Footage from his boat shows Piercy having a chillingly casual conversation with his colleague, referring to Ellingson in profane terms. I'm banged up a little, but I'm all right. I don't know if I'm sore from treading water with that bastard, Piercy told a supervisor of the dead 20-year-old.
I mean, business as usual. I mean, why would they be upset over somebody dying on their account? This is cop stuff.
I guess he treaded water with him when he retrieved the body.
I'm not sure. It says that...
No, I understand not jumping in after him because being a lifeguard is extremely dangerous. They get injured all the time because when you're drowning, you thrash around and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but if you're on a boat and you're a police officer, you should know how to swim. It should be taught. You should know how to get people out of water.
I would agree, especially if you're enforcing boating law.
And the guy's handcuffed, so he won't be able to grab you and take you down, but...
That's true.
You just have to keep him afloat.
And you probably have, I would assume that cop would be issued a life jacket for his, as part of his duty gear.
Another good point.
As the Free Thought Project previously reported, following the familiar full court press to prevent officer accountability, the jury in a coroner's inquest ruled Ellingson's death to be accidental. It was subsequently revealed that Amanda Grellner, the prosecutor who declined to file charges against Piercy, had received a personal favor from the MHP 3 years earlier when the department declined to charge their then 18-year-old son with a DUI.
So this was a state trooper, a member of the Missouri Highway Patrol, patrolling something that wasn't a highway.
Yeah, he was on a boat.
Yeah.
It says
definitively not a highway.
Last September, a circuit court judge found that the state had knowingly and purposefully covered up the crimes of Piercy, violating the state's sunshine law in the act. After seeing that they were getting zero help from the perpetrator and his subsequent conspirators, the family of Ellingsons launched a campaign for justice. During this campaign, they were joined by Missouri Highway Patrol Sergeant Randy Henry. Henry witnessed firsthand the incompetence, negligence, and cover-up and took it to exposing it.
So there was an intentional cover-up of this kid who was essentially tossed by waves out into the I think they said it was a lake. His life jacket came off, and he drowned because he couldn't swim with his hands cuffed behind his back.
Wasn't that the purpose of the police union, to provide cover-ups and help manage cover-ups? I mean, the police union doesn't really care about anything except for having members and making sure they have many members and making sure they have more members come into the police union. It's basically for cover-ups, because it's always a police union who are always, throwing all the money at all the lawyers to defend these cops, and they're always putting all the, pro-cop propaganda out there.
Henry, the patrol sergeant, says, "We killed Brandon Ellingson. Why are we investigating ourselves?" In a conversation with Piercy the day following Ellingson's death, Henry expressed concerns about how the arresting officer had conducted himself. Piercy himself seemed remorseful, telling Henry, "I feel like I drowned that kid. I should have done more for him." In any other context, that comment would have been treated as a confession to second-degree murder. Henry then filed a report on the drowning and testified about the inadequate training Piercy and other Water Patrol officers received. During an
Yes, that's certainly inadequate. If they don't know how to properly respond to a person being thrown from a boat with no life jacket, with their hands bound, then they should definitely be trained better.
Or if they don't even know which life jacket to put on the person.
Also a good point.
There's a flaw there. It says during an interview with patrol investigators following the drowning, Henry mentioned a state law dealing with the safety of people in custody and how the police are responsible for their lives and those they detain. An investigator interrupted Henry and insisted that the recorder be turned off to deliberately prevent an official record of his disclosures.
Oh, yeah, they hate cameras.
The stiff arm of Blue Justice moved in, and now we are seeing the results. Instead of Piercy being held accountable for his negligence, it was Henry who was then run through the gamut of the thin blue line. He was cast out by his department, demoted to corporal, and forced to retire. Now the man responsible for the death of a star college student is getting off with a 10-day sentence and can remain a cop.
I'm not surprised.
I wonder if there's a civil suit. I would almost imagine that there's got to be, lawyers coming at these guys wanting to represent them, or they're just offering them money.
I thought they, had legal protections where you could not sue a cop who did something, horrific like this.
Well, you could sue anybody. I mean, it might get thrown out, but
true.
And there are definitely lawsuits that happen for lesser crimes, like Carla Grique, who a former president of the Free State Project, sued the Ware Police Department a few years back, and they settled with her over wiretapping. She was charged with wiretapping and arrested for wiretapping for filming the cop. And
wow.
And another guy.
Well, like I said, they don't like cameras being recorded, because then you can prove what they did. That was corrupt and negligent, or downright evil.
But even if there was a lawsuit, we might not even know about it, because they like to throw money at you. It just comes out of the taxpayers, basically, or insurance companies, bond companies that insure these, police officers. And you usually have to sign a non-disclosure statement in order to receive the money, and then nobody talks about it. This is why you really don't hear about these lawsuits.
I wish there was a good solution to the police problem. But if cops are so good old boys that they can do something like this, which is drown a person, feel a little bit of remorse about it, saying, I feel like I drowned that kid. Well, that's because you did drown that kid, and you should have done more for him instead of standing there doing nothing or handing him a pole that you knew he couldn't grab.
As long as you have a special class of men that can point guns at people and demand money, and there is no accountability, these problems are just going to go on and on and on.
Yeah, because even if he is sued by the kid's family, it's not coming out of his pocket.
Don't mean nothing to him.
Yeah, he's continuing on with his job just fine. It means almost nothing to him. Let us know what you think about cops. The number's 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,497, silver at $16.96, and Bitcoin is trading around $11,358. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Jeffrey Epstein is dead, with multiple reports Saturday morning alleging that the disgraced financier committed suicide in his Manhattan jail cell. The 66-year-old Epstein's death comes after the disgraced financier was arrested on multiple child sex trafficking charges. Fox News reports Epstein's death was confirmed to the Associated Press by the Manhattan Medical Examiner's Office. His attorney did not immediately offer confirmation following media requests. Epstein 2 weeks ago was placed on suicide watch after he was found injured in his jail cell. It's never been explicitly confirmed whether the injuries were due to a suicide attempt or an attack. According to the New York Times, Epstein, who had strong ties to elite society, was indicted in July with sex trafficking girls as young as 14 years old. Accusations had followed him for years regarding allegations of a for-pay sexual lifestyle involving young girls. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Monsanto operated an intelligence gathering fusion center to discredit journalists and activists, including singer Neil Young, and paid Google to bury results in its search engine, according to a report from The Guardian. Activist Post reports that Bayer Monsanto had kept a file of 200 names, including journalists and lawmakers, in hopes of influencing their positions on pesticides, according to French prosecutors. The Guardian's expose says Monsanto spied on journalists using a fusion center-type operation and paid Google to hide negative results. The documents originate from 2015 to 2017 and were disclosed as part of one of numerous ongoing court battles on the health hazards of the company's Roundup weed killer. According to the Guardian report, Monsanto PR staff internally talked about putting pressure on the Reuters news agency, stating they should, quote, continue to push back on Gillum's editors very strongly every chance we get, end quote. In a shocking move, Chase Bank on Thursday announced it's going to be forgiving all outstanding credit card debt from its Canadian customers, according to a report from Yahoo Finance. The bank, in 2018, closed all of its credit card accounts in Canada. The Mind Unleashed reports that when the accounts were initially closed, customers were told to continue paying down their debt. Now they're being told by the company that their debt is canceled. CBC talked to some customers who got letters from the bank. Douglas Turner of Cohill, Ontario, who still owed about $4,500, said he was sort of over the moon all night with a smile on his face. The bank had previously offered reward cards for both Amazon and Marriott in Canada. Maria Martinez, Vice President of Communications for Chase Card Services, said the bank could have sold the debt, but that forgiving it, quote, was a better decision for all parties, including, and most importantly, our customers, end quote. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Talk about whatever is on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Jay.
And Angie.
And we're going to move on now. Jay, you have a story about a SWAT team in Massachusetts that is saying they're mercenaries.
Yeah, and this is, essentially they are.
They're a mercenary charity.
Right, charity mercenaries, yeah. So this is actually a pretty old article. It comes out of the Washington Post, I believe. And get back to it. Yeah, the Washington Post. And this was from June of 2014 by Radley Balco. And it's Massachusetts SWAT team claims they're a private corporation immune from open record laws. Now, I had talked about this a little bit last week when we read a few things from the article, but basically in a nutshell, what had happened is...
Oh, you did this last week?
Well, we talked about it.
I thought it was posted this morning.
No. We had... it was posted last week, but we touched on it a little bit last week.
Okay.
But basically what had happened is the Massachusetts ACLU wanted to know what the Massachusetts State Police Terrorism Task Force had for goodies and toys and, what they got from the feds. And
what kind of Bearcats and tanks
Correct.
and armored vehicles.
All that stuff and how often they use them and, and also, and this was all part of... And usually when public records requests are being asked for by the ACLU, it's because they're preparing for a lawsuit. That's how it's a lot better to get the evidence before you even file the lawsuit. And
Sure.
The best way to get evidence is a certified public records request from whichever agency. So a lot of these agencies are very hesitant to give up this information.
Oh, well, I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, for the same reason they don't like cameras and audio recording devices, they don't like having the light shine on what they're doing.
Correct. So the guys that represented the Massachusetts State Police, his name is Jack Collins, and he's a lawyer from Worcester, Mass area.
Okay.
I actually know this guy. I've sold him hay.
And he's representing the police state.
He actually is the chief legal counsel for the Massachusetts Chief of Police Association. And he's one of my hay customers. Well, I haven't sold him hay in a few years because his granddaughter takes care of her own horse now. He doesn't anymore. But probably been about 5 years since I dealt with this guy. And he was always a really nice guy. And this is old. This is 5 years old, this article. So what had happened here is because the ACLU represents a lot of people who are damaged by the police. Like in this article, they talk about how there was, some elderly woman's house was burnt down because they get these, wrong information on these no-knock drug raids, and then they send in the tear gas grenades, and there's a little spark, and something sets on fire, and the tear gas is maybe flammable.
There was one like that in Mississippi as well, where DeSoto County was supposedly acting on a warrant for the Tate County, which is the county I lived in at the time. And it turned out the warrant didn't exist, and they shot this Mexican dude in the face and killed him on one of these no-knock raids.
And
just a completely innocent person when no warrant actually existed. They were in the wrong neighborhood and at the wrong house with a fake warrant for a completely different address.
Now, what happened to them when they did that?
Nothing.
Of course.
They investigated themselves, and they waited on the media to die down, and I don't believe there was ever
And then it was over.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they do, They stall until the media forgets about it, until we, the people, forget about it, and then it just sort of fades into memory. Just another wrongdoing that cops did, and there was no punishment about it.
Oops.
And in this particular article here, they cite a bunch of reasons, like these botched drug raids. And where they get most of their information from is what's called a confidential informant. So,
a snitch.
A CI. CI number 62 was a guy named Jerry Battistoni, for example, who was this confidential informant for the Hampden County Narcotics Task Force. And he ended up, committing suicide in jail a few years ago. And
is that suicide or a, quote, suicide?
Well, where I grew up in Western Mass, the locals are like, quote, suicide, because this guy, definitely had a lot of, he had some issues, and he was allowed to get away with a whole bunch of crimes because he was a confidential informant.
Right.
So in order for a confidential informant to basically remain in good with his handlers, with the police, he needs to give them information. Well, a lot of these guys are drug addicts, or they're pedophiles, or they're, they got some kind of vice going on, and they're basically allowed to, do their vice, whether it's, messing around with kids or doing heroin or whatever it is. So this is how they, keep their thing going with by feeding the cops information. So
are you suggesting that cops are in fact enabling pedophilia and child rape by enlisting such people as informants?
I wouldn't say I have any evidence of that, but I strongly, I am saying that does happen. It definitely happens with drugs. And even this guy, Whitey Bulger, I don't know if you ever heard of Whitey Bulger, but he was like a famous Massachusetts, corrupt dude. His brother, I forget Whitey's brother's name, but he was like the president of the UMass schools and stuff. And Whitey was a confidential informant for the FBI who, according to Howie Carr, who basically, if you're listening in Boston to this radio show right now on AM 680, you just listened to the Howie Carr show before this. He's always talking about the brothers Bulger. He wrote a book about it and how Whitey Bulger literally got away with murdering like at least 19 people because he was a confidential informant. Well, these
up to and including murder
absolutely
are crimes that the police state is allowing people to just get away with if they're informing them of other crimes.
Right. So what happens is these informants start giving false information, start just making up stuff. And
because they have to keep themselves useful?
Because they have to keep themselves useful so they're allowed to, get their drugs or whatever they're doing. It's every case is, different, obviously.
Right.
And so the ACLU, this is talked about in this Washington Post article here, and the ACLU represents a lot of people who they're basically just old lady minding their business and their freaking house gets set on fire because, some crackhead needs a fix and says, oh, yeah, you can go get drugs rattles off an address, and, they go into the place at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. You see these things just roll across news feeds all the time where these raids gone wrong. They throw a flash grenade in a baby's crib or whatnot, and third-degree burns on the baby and stuff.
Now, do they not do any sort of prep work before? Do they just take the crackhead's word for it, or do they scope out the house for a bit?
Well, I don't know, but police are really lazy
and stupid.
And they just all trigger happy and just want to go do something. I mean, I've been to court with lots of cops, and none of them have ever prepared for a court case. I mean, they don't know the questions when you cross-examine them on the witness stand.
It often doesn't matter, though.
No, it often doesn't.
Because the judge is just going to take their side because they're part of the same apparatus that, the cop is part of.
So, in this article, this article is previous while the lawsuit's actually going on. While not the lawsuit, while the ACLU is, they wouldn't get these public records requests from the Massachusetts State Police, so they went up the chain of command and they went to the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts, and the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts ruled that the state police, which are law enforcement councils, LECs. They don't have to rule. There's evidence. They're 501c3 corporations. They're registered as. But the opinion of the Supreme Court justices in Massachusetts was that they're no different than the American Heart and Lung or the American Cancer Society. And I agree with them. They're 100% right. They are just municipal corporations, and that's it. And they're set up as charities. And as far as I'm concerned, they're enforcing copyright. They're certainly not enforcing people's rights.
Certainly not, no. Not if enforcing those rights involves, throwing people off of boats and watching them drown.
And just the countless other things that we just see and hear about every single day.
855-450-3733 or use the Discord call-in lines at discord.lrn.fm.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. Helpmetakebitcoin.com.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. Go Dark Bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkBags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkBags.com/FTL.
I am giving away $100 in Bitcoin Cash on September 2, 2019. And I'm not giving it away because I like giving away money, quite the contrary. It's because I need a favor. Please go to demo.freetalklive.com and fill out the survey there as thoroughly as you like. There's an optional email slot, and if you put your email in there, you will forever be signed up for whatever prize I'm giving to incentivize people that month to fill out my form. Advertisers need this info on our listeners, so fill it out as truthfully as you can, please. Demo.freetalklive.com.
What good is it living in a free country if you don't live a free life? You're stuck going to a job or a stressful business. You're stuck in a relationship where you're pretty much a slave. That isn't happiness. You were meant for bigger and better things. There's another way to live. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses, and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. Tell us about whatever is on your mind. With you tonight is Aria,
Jay,
and Angie. I want to tell you about My Magic Mud. It's a black tooth powder made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. It's clinically proven to whiten your teeth. Most health food stores, Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, and Walmart natural beauty aisles carry the product. If you use the FTL20 code, you get 20% off at mymagicmud.com. You can use it one time for 4 days and then once every 3 to 4 days after that. And it totally visibly whitens your teeth. And more importantly, it makes your teeth feel a lot cleaner. Again, that was mymagicmud.com. And you can get 20% off at FTL20 with FTL20.
Very cool. Well, let's get into the phones. We've got Kevin calling in from Lancaster, California. Kevin, you're on Free Talk Live. Are you with us, Kevin? Going once. I guess he's no longer with us. Well, that's unfortunate. He seems to be, he wanted to discuss cops on the beat, presumably. I assume he was taking the side of cops, so I was interested to hear what he had to say. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Maybe he can call back again. Maybe his cell phone dropped out.
That's very true. So we've been sort of talking about cops all night long, and just, well, other than the insanity of the public schools in the first hour, but cops in general is the theme of the show, which is great because the police state is something that needs to be discussed.
And what also needs to be discussed is how are we, the people, subject to these charities? And as I was getting into it in the last segment a little bit, I really think it has to do with that the purpose of governments, as we know them, and they're not really governments, they're governmental agencies calling themselves municipal corporations. If you read any town charter, it'll say like the town of Palmer, Massachusetts, a governmental agency calling itself a municipal corporation. And if anybody paid attention, the suffix al on the end of a word means similar to or like.
Right.
And this is what this, I was looking for a different article on this Supreme Court ruling in Massachusetts here with this. And the Supreme Court, had got into this a little bit, that they are governmental and that they are a charity.
Hold that thought. We have Kevin back. Kevin, are you with us? You're on Free Talk Live.
Angie?
Yes.
When low QJ and Aria are shot in the head, who you call?
Well, I don't know who that was. Interesting
I know
question.
Who that was.
Yeah, I figure so.
Yeah.
I don't see myself as being extremely likely to be shot in the head.
No, I'm not afraid of that happening.
If I get shot in the head, just you don't need to call the police. There's not much they can do about it.
No, you're done.
Yeah, call my friends and let them know what happened.
That's probably what
ideal.
I would do.
But speaking of people being shot, evidently 6 Philadelphia police officers have been shot in a standoff, and this is something that I'm just now hearing about. I assume this is happening today with this sort of shoot-off where this guy has managed to kill 6 cops and has trapped 2 officers in a house with him. Have either of you been
I have
in
not.
any way introduced to this story?
I haven't heard of that today, but I'd be curious about it.
Yeah, well, they were shot in a standoff today, and 2 more are trapped inside the house where the gunman is holed up in northern Philadelphia. A large police presence responded to a shooting incident at about 4:30 p.m. local time. That's our time, right? I assume they're on Eastern as well. In a residential area of the Nicetown section of the city.
Nicetown section, huh?
Yeah, interesting name. One male shooter was still inside a residence in what police described as an active situation. They said the incident began when a narcotics officer attempted to serve a warrant at the address. It always comes back to the drug war, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I wonder, where do they get this information from? Did some confidential informant, need a fix?
Police Commissioner Richard Ross said today that officers were already inside and in the rear of the building when the gunman opened fire, forcing them to escape a barrage of bullets through windows and doors. Officers took cover behind cars and blocked off surrounding streets as they were fired upon by the unidentified shooter. 3 hours after the shooting began, police said they were attempting to negotiate the gunman's surrender, but he was still intermittently firing at officers. This dude's got balls. I will say that.
One guy has shot 6 officers and has 2 captured in the house with him.
It sounds that way.
Well, I mean, if you're getting the death penalty anyways, I mean...
he's definitely going down.
They can only hang you once, right?
That's it.
Ross said that he was concerned about a potential hostage situation as 2 officers are trapped inside the house with the gunman. We believe they're okay, and I'm not going to say much more than that right now out of concern for their safety. We believe that this male is in a certain part of the building, but I won't tell you where they are, where he is, so that I don't endanger the officers on the scene. So they seem to be hiding, is what I'm gathering from what he's saying, is that the cops are hiding from where they believe the shooter to be.
So if this guy has shot 6 cops, I wonder what kind of background he has in order to be that good of a shot, in order to have injured at least 6.
This sounds like a great opening to a movie about, the good cop is exposing the dirty cops, and the dirty cops go try to take them down, kind of scenario. So obviously, if this guy's able to shoot 6 cops, he's probably well trained. He might understand this, how to police stage himself and whatnot. I mean,
you're not wrong.
But then again, cops are, pretty stupid.
Let's go into the phones. We got Mike calling from Gold Bar, Washington, about the SWAT standoff. Mike, what's on your mind?
Is this me?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I got it. So I had a friend in Hoquiam, Washington, that was actually shot a car 5 times, and he should have shot the car 5 times. The guy that owned the car is lucky my friend didn't shoot him, and my friend is now passed in a motorcycle accident. But the SWAT team was there all night, and they actually let my friend watch Full Metal Jacket, and then basically popped him with that BB gun or whatever it is, the sandbag thing.
Yeah.
But what I discovered was they actually shot him in the heart 2 times, and he had to have surgery. So I feel like whoever was shooting that weapon tried to actually kill my friend when he was unarmed and almost naked, and he was a little guy. They basically just had to go pick his drunk self up and put him in the car. But they made a big deal out of it. So I respect them for, not killing my friend. And I don't think they needed a SWAT team. But then on the other hand, recently where I live in another town now, these 2 state patrolmen pulled this kid over that was walking with a backpack directly from the woods to a convenience store to get some beer. And I asked the officer, which I felt like I was entitled to say, why did you actually come after this kid and pull him over? Because he was clean as a whistle, the kid was. And the officer, the state patrolman, a highway patrolman, says, well, when people avoid us, it gives us probable cause to look into them. And all I could think was this kid made a straight line from the woods to the store, and they had to come down the highway like 8 blocks to question. They had no business doing that. I don't think cops are stupid. I just think a lot of people shouldn't be a policeman. There's got to be some good cops out there.
I don't know if I would agree about good cops. Mike, thank you so much for the call. Interesting stories. I'm also glad your friend was not killed by the police. We had a SWAT incident here in Keene not terribly long ago where the guy was videoing himself and the SWAT team as they kicked in his door and carted him off. You can watch that video on the Free Keene YouTube channel, I believe. It's fascinating stuff. Sometimes they don't kill people, but that's not really a good thing.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McElvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Take control of the airwaves and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Jay.
And Angie.
So they're dealing with a very volatile solution in Philadelphia, evidently, saying that it's still unfolding and the gunman seems to have no intention of surrendering. At this point, I honestly can't say that I blame him. I don't advocate, I have advocated not sincerely in the past shooting cops. I certainly don't suggest people do it. But once you do shoot a cop, they're going to kill you.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah. And once you shoot 6 of them, you're well past done. You're in the range of they're probably going to disappear you on the way to the police station. You're going to be tortured until you're dead.
And this is just what prohibition brings us, violence.
So your prediction is that this guy will not walk away from this, like he won't be arrested and go to jail.
I think the most likely outcome of this is that he shoots himself.
Okay.
Probably seriously shoots himself.
Yeah, isn't it only mass shooters that like just, give up and just the cops just go arrest them? But then
wasn't that a strange incident?
Well,
you're referring to El Paso, right?
And there was another one a few years back, or that it was the kid in Colorado, the Batman movie theater thing. And I was in Colorado when it happened in Aurora.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
He basically ran out of...
Didn't he booby trap his apartment as well?
I think I heard that. But one of the really odd things is there's like some amateur video, someone from a cell phone basically videotaped the dude just pretty much just having no guns on him, just walking up to the cops all casually, and the cops just put his hand, put handcuffs on, put him in a cruiser. Not like Eric Gardner, who was, selling cigarettes. Lucy's.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
What wasn't even, proven
Allegedly,
to be.
yeah. They choke him to death.
Or Kelly Thomas, who was beaten to death by their fists and their flashlights out in the streets of, I think, Arizona, may have been Nevada.
Right, yeah, I remember that one too.
Essentially for being homeless and in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But these, when you go against the state or employees of the state, they they're all out vicious. But when you just do crimes, actual legit crimes against common people, it don't really seem to matter.
Excellent point. And it doesn't seem to matter, what they do to the people that they're supposed to be protecting, like throwing them off of boats and allowing them to drown. I imagine that the greatest crime that you can commit in the eyes of the state is actually to fight back against the state.
Or a crime against the state, like a lot of tax evaders, they don't get good time.
No.
But rapists get good time. Child molesters get good time, get out of jail early.
So the Philadelphia Police Department said that 6 officers were shot and taken to area hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. 1 officer was hit with a graze to the head, but is expected to survive. Other officers were injured in a car accident at a nearby intersection while responding to the scene. And I'm laughing during that because I can just picture cops doing that sort of stupid thing. Have you happened to seen the video of the cops who didn't want to wait for a train, so they tried to beat it, and they got plowed by the train?
I didn't see that one.
I think it was actually during an episode of Free Talk Live that we stumbled upon it. It's just such typical cop behavior where they just become just obsessed with reaching this target as quickly as possible, and they plow through intersections into people or into trains.
Well, you'll see this authoritarian behavior with people where they're so used to, being the respected authority that they literally melt down when that authority is challenged, even if it's by a speeding train that weighs 1 million pounds.
And that steamrolls their vehicle. Let's go to the phones. We've got Warren calling from Keene, New Hampshire. Warren, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hi.
Hi, what's on your mind?
Well, we're talking about this incident where to bring it back to officer on the boat and dumping the person. And my whole thing there is obviously there's some sort of negligence involved with that. And my opinion, honestly, is that if an officer is in a situation where they're being held to a higher standard, then I think that if they are convicted, or if something happens like that, then they should be convicted to a higher standard as well. I think that if a cop were to say negligently murder somebody, and honestly, the negligent murder charge probably carries somewhere between 5 to 15 years or whatever the state sentencing seems fit, but they should get double that, I feel, and I don't think that's unreasonable. I was curious about your guys' opinion on that.
Well, I can tell you the police union will lobby very, very hard against that. As someone who goes and sits in the New Hampshire House of Representatives occasionally, I watch the representative from the police union, literally get up there and testify, and especially in front of the Senate committees where there's like 5 guys on these Senate committees, and they pretty much, most of the senators in New Hampshire are bootlickers. So they're, they just, whatever the police union guy recommends or proposes, they seem to be very much in line with it. And the police union lobby is very, very, very strong.
But what about your thoughts on the idea itself that police should receive double sentencing?
I agree with that. It would just be like anybody who is given these privileges and immunities essentially, that abuses them, whether it be negligently or intentionally or willful, should, as part of receiving these privileges and immunities to do whatever, the time for the crime should be more harsher, and it also should be written in a contract. And I believe in libertarian paradise that those who are hired as security guards, if they messed up, it would be in their contract whatever the penalty is for messing up, so they'd be well aware of this. But yeah, it should be harsher. Just like school teachers should be, treat a little harsher if they do bad things to your kids versus just somebody else.
What are your thoughts, Angie?
I think it's a great idea. I think that cops are trained to handle situations professionally, and if they do not, and they kill someone, or they arrest someone falsely, or they break into a home because they don't have a warrant and they injure someone, that they should be held to a higher standard. So if the penalty or the crime warrants 5 years in prison, that maybe they should get 10 years, or maybe they should get 15 years, and for sure they shouldn't be able to be a cop anymore.
I agree. I agree, and I think that I kind of wanted a little general roundabout opinion there. Nothing really too specific on my mind in that regards, but
well, thank you, Warren, so much for
calling.
Thank you so much for the call and the thought-provoking question. I've never really considered it because I start from, well, there shouldn't be police. That's my starting point.
That's a great way to start.
Well, there's no accountability to begin with. I mean, I'd be really happy if the playing field was just equal, if there was just accountability to begin with.
Yeah, and just lawful citizens who, oh no, this guy murdered someone, I'm going to go accost him and drag him before whatever civil court we have set up to handle that matter. Not that I would condone that, because I don't believe that vengeance is an appropriate way to run a society, and that's ultimately what we're talking about with our justice system.
I really like restorative justice. Have you guys heard of that?
No.
I have. Walter Block is a big fan of it.
Yes, and so the idea of restorative justice is like right now we have a punitive justice system. So there's these, you're going to go to jail or whatever. But if I, for example, injured you or your property or something, in restorative justice, it would be we would basically come up with something I'm going to do to restore your damage.
Okay, that makes sense.
Whatever it may be, and this has this is worked in parts of Africa. I know there's pretty good examples where this is kind of like used in like a tribal way. And there was some examples where there was like it was a negligent murder thing. Somebody, I don't know if he was intoxicated or whatever, but somehow someone got murdered, and the guy that actually killed the dude basically was like an involuntary servant for this family for several years to repay the family.
Interesting ideas. Let's talk more about justice.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the justice system? Restorative justice or punitive justice? Let us know. If you call quickly, you still have time to get on the air. That's 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE as in Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens, and we're proud to promote amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Visit gcnlife.com for products like Luminesse. The Luminesse anti-aging skincare line restores youthful vitality and radiance to your skin, reducing the appearances of fine lines and wrinkles with stem cell technology. There's also Instantly Ageless, which works within 2 minutes, reducing under-eye bags, fine lines, wrinkles, and pores. Jeunesse has products to help you with how you look and feel in a very short time. Nobel-nominated Dr. Vincent Jampapa has designed several products helping the body perform better. Jeunesse products have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and they're available up to a 25% preferred price discount. See all of the amazing Jeunesse products at gcnlife.com or call toll-free 1-844-443-6637, 1-844-443-6637.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. And if you're quick, you can still get on the air with us. That number's 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria,
Jay,
and Angie.
And we just got into a bit of a discussion about the justice system. And Jay, you're a fan of restorative justice.
Yes,
right?
actually, yeah. It's something I did some restorative justice workshops in Colorado, and I use this with. It was the first one I ever did was with a Mexican, a couple of Mexican guys that worked for my stepfather, and neither one of them spoke good enough English to communicate with me. So I had basically two interpreters I was working through, which was one of them was a daughter and the other one was a friend of the other guy, which was kind of interesting. But these guys became pretty good friends. And the idea of restorative justice is I actually was able to do one at PorkFest last year over, a few different things, a poker table that was settled with a restorative justice thing where all the parties seemed to be happy at the end of it. Well, or at least satisfied with the situation. I wouldn't say happy, but
I think restorative justice is a great idea when it comes to property, but when it comes to other crimes like rape or murder or something like that, restorative justice, it fails. And that the only sort of justice model that works is a forgiveness-based one.
Right, and part of the forgiveness, restorative justice does incorporate forgiveness, but with the property thing is, for a quick example, let's say somebody breaks a window on your house, and whether they did it intentionally or by accident, by calling the cops and getting the cops involved, and maybe there's some criminal penalty, at least the guy's going to get like a some kind of charge or something, and brings the court involved, or the guy basically pays for the window to get fixed, maybe pays for some more than the window get fixed, whatever the owner wants, and a lot of these things can be solved relatively easy without getting the state involved.
Absolutely.
But the problem is for generations now, we've all been programmed, just mostly because of public school, like in the beginning, to call the state, get the state involved. And the restorative justice will help get away from that. And of course, the prison industrial complex doesn't want that.
Oh, certainly not, because then they don't get their slave labor. Let's go to the phones. We've got David calling from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I've been giving these cows some restorative justice when they keep crawling through my fence. Little
That's right.
pellet gun right between the eyes.
Yeah.
Huh?
I remember you talking about this once before. I'm still not a fan of shooting the cows, I have to say.
Okay, you got electric fence or barbed wire?
Well, I had the electric fence till the cows busted it down, so I just put up more barbed wire, but they still keep coming through it, so just keep putting BBs right between their eyes, and then when they turn around, then you hit them in the twat.
Jeez.
I don't think you can actually say that. Can you?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't have the FCC rule book
I wouldn't use it
in front of me.
So, David, I know you're a regular caller, but I'm almost positive that can't be said, so we had to drop you and dump that.
I think I do recall George Carlin saying that was one of the words. That might be the only reason I would think that you're not, the FCC doesn't allow. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's a gray area, and not a reason we should take the chance in the first
But
place.
I don't think that shooting the cows is a great plan.
I don't either. And I realize you're not doing them long-term damage, but I still don't think violence is a good solution. I mean, what harm could the cows possibly be causing?
Oh, I'll tell you what harm.
I mean, sure, if they're rampaging through his house, okay.
Or the garden or the yard.
Or they go out. If your cow,
but we're talking about, a yard there and a garden there. Roaming through grass and flowers and stuff is what cows are supposed to do.
Well, if your cow gets on your neighbor's property and starts tearing it up, or let's say, for example, you have a bull in your herd, and that bull, is some like mutt bull that you own, and it goes over and starts getting in with your neighbor's, purebred, Holstein or Angus heifers and starts breeding them, there could be some issues. Also, if your cow or horse or livestock, even your dog, goes out in the road and hit a car, when a dog don't do much damage to a car, but you have a 1,500-pound cow standing out in the road or steps out in front of a car, you're paying for a car, and you're paying hospital bills because your property did that damage. So it is pretty important to keep them in their pastures if you're going to own them.
Not just safety for others, but for safety for them.
True. Cows are about as dumb as cops.
Yeah.
That's true.
They're less aggressive, though, and they usually won't kill you.
Well, some of them. I think the bulls are pretty aggressive, but I think they're made to be aggressive, aren't they?
Well, I tell you, Jersey and Holstein bulls, which have been specifically bred for years for their genetics, are very, very aggressive. I was actually in a skid steer once, which is like a bobcat skid steer, feeding some cattle, and I had a Jersey bull just slam his head into the side of this tractor like 4 times because he was just pissed off because we hadn't let him out with the heifers yet, because you don't want them to breed too early, because then they'll be having calves while it's still getting really cold at night, and the calves will freeze to death. So you don't want to, there's a whole science to when you let the bull in, with the heifers.
Interesting.
With the cows. And so, yeah, they can get pretty aggressive, especially when they're all they can see the ladies and they can smell the ladies, and, and Mother Nature's telling them what to do. They do get angry, and they will attack you.
Not surprising. I guess restorative justice in the case of this fence would be to build David a better fence.
Well, yeah, and they are David's property, I assume, these cows. I mean, if he wants to shoot him in the forehead.
See, that's where I take issue,
are
is
they
referring
his
to
cows?
the cows.
Oh, I don't know. I assume they're his.
I take issue with referring to them as property. This is another living being that we're talking about as the property of someone else.
And
I can't condone slavery, whether it's of human animals or non-human animals.
Yeah, if they're his cows and his fence isn't holding him in, then he needs to get a better fence. I mean, it's just simple as that.
My concern would be if you're shooting them in the forehead and you hit one in the eye, and now it's going to lose an eye. It's the value in that cow has dropped tremendously, because the cow's going to have a harder time. And I bet you if you bring them I know when you bring them to auction and they only got one eye, they just don't bring as much money. They'll still produce milk. They'll still eat. They'll still get around. But
so what you're saying is that disabled slaves aren't worth as much on the block?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, of course, if you go to what's going to bring more, a blind slave or one-eyed slave, a one-armed slave, or, one that's all intact.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, the reality of the situation.
And I've never actually shot a BB gun, but they're not exactly accurate, are they? They're slightly more accurate. They can be.
You can aim and shoot, whatever you're aiming at.
Yeah, they're actually pretty. The newer ones.
I thought
they
were
good.
only a little bit better than like paintball guns in that regard.
Oh, they're a lot better than a paintball gun, a BB gun. And
okay.
Pellet guns are very accurate. And actually, if you put a little bit of 3-in-1 oil in a pellet gun, and put your pellet in and then drop some 3-in-1 oil in where it goes, and there's different ways to set it, but that they call it diesel firing or dieseling a pellet gun or an air rifle. Now it takes that pellet and it shoots it like it's a lead, like it's a black powder cartridge, almost like you take like a 22 caliber pellet air rifle, and you put a couple drops of 3-in-1 oil in it, and the air goes in there at such a high velocity to launch the pellet. The 3-in-1 oil explodes. And this thing
sounds dangerous.
Oh, it is like shooting an actual real, rifle. And it increases the velocity of that pellet, like not quite double, but like take a man down for sure. to where it probably, or at least pierce, the body of a man to where it wouldn't do quite so much damage before you do this. Just if you're going to talk about pellet guns and rifles, but
and this can
BB
all be
guns.
done with essentially a pellet gun.
A pellet gun and a little bit of light oil, like diesel fuel, basically 3-in-1 oil. WD-40 would probably work too.
David, please don't add that as you shoot the cows.
Yeah, I'm not,
No, please.
Hey, well, he doesn't. I'm sure he doesn't want to kill him. He just wants him to stay in there. He doesn't want to hurt him too bad.
Just stay in your pen.
I think a paintball gun would be a little better to scare him off.
Then you'd have painted cows.
That's all right. It'll rinse off in the rain. But it's
you
not going
think
to
the
do as much
paintball
damage.
gun would be more effective than the pellet gun?
Yeah, because it's going to sting them a little bit. And the thing is, too, is cows.
The pellet gun won't.
Well, the pellet gun will too, but I mean, I don't know. A pellet gun's going to possibly open wounds and start causing issues, and to where
That's true.
the paintball gun probably won't. I'd be concerned about hitting him in the eyes.
And then David would have his own problems to deal with.
Yeah.
Not to mention the vet bills.
Get that electric fence fit. Good hot electric fence works well.
Bigger charger.
Mow down the weeds so the fence keeps working. I've fixed a lot of fence in my life, so.
Well, I can't imagine that most cows are actually stupid enough to just keep walking through.
Oh yeah,
something.
they will. They will, and they'll tear themselves up with the barbed wire and everything.
Really?
Yeah, electricity works the best for them.
I had no idea cows were so stupid. This has been Free Talk Live. We'll be back same time tomorrow. You can go check out all of the show archives, however, at freetalklive.com. Or thank you to Barry for amplifying the show at amp.freetalklive.com.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Questioning Authority is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,497. Silver at $16.96. And Bitcoin is trading around $11,358. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Your way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, Jeffrey Epstein is dead, with multiple reports Saturday morning alleging that the disgraced financier committed suicide in his Manhattan jail cell. The 66-year-old Epstein's death comes after the disgraced financier was arrested on multiple child sex trafficking charges. Fox News reports Epstein's death was confirmed to the Associated Press by the Manhattan Medical Examiner's Office. His attorney did not immediately offer confirmation following media requests. Epstein 2 weeks ago was placed on suicide watch after he was found injured in his jail cell. It's never been explicitly confirmed whether the injuries were due to a suicide attempt or an attack. According to the New York Times, Epstein, who had strong ties to elite society, was indicted in July with sex trafficking girls as young as 14 years old. Accusations had followed him for years regarding allegations of a for-pay sexual lifestyle involving young girls. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Monsanto operated an intelligence gathering fusion center to discredit journalists and activists, including singer Neil Young, and paid Google to bury results in its search engine, according to a report from The Guardian. Activist Post reports that Bayer Monsanto had kept a file of 200 names, including journalists and lawmakers, in hopes of influencing their positions on pesticides, according to French prosecutors. The Guardian's expose says Monsanto spied on journalists using a fusion center-type operation and paid Google to hide negative results. The documents originate from 2015 to 2017 and were disclosed as part of one of numerous ongoing court battles on the health hazards of the company's Roundup weed killer. According to the Guardian report, Monsanto PR staff internally talked about putting pressure on the Reuters news agency, stating they should, quote, continue to push back on Gillum's editors very strongly every chance we get, end quote. In a shocking move, Chase Bank on Thursday announced it's going to be forgiving all outstanding credit card debt from its Canadian customers, according to a report from Yahoo Finance. The bank, in 2018, closed all of its credit card accounts in Canada. The Mind Unleashed reports that when the accounts were initially closed, customers were told to continue paying down their debt. Now they're being told by the company that their debt is canceled. CBC talked to some customers who got letters from the bank. Douglas Turner of Cohill, Ontario, who still owed about $4,500, said he was sort of over the moon all night with a smile on his face. The bank had previously offered reward cards for both Amazon and Marriott in Canada. Maria Martinez, Vice President of Communications for Chase Card Services, said the bank could have sold the debt, but that forgiving it, quote, was a better decision for all parties, including, and most importantly, our customers, end quote. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to Liberty.
Americans across the nation made their voices heard this week as they demanded more mind-blowing guitar solos. Calling for the solos to be, quote, face-meltingly cool and go on for well over 10 minutes, Americans stressed that all guitar solos from now on should be equally as kick-ass as those in Van Halen's Hot for Teacher and AC/DC's Thunderstruck, or even better.
It should start out really slow, you know, and then get faster and faster until they're all the way up at the top of the guitar neck and bending the notes like crazy, so it's like, and then there's all this awesome pyrotechnic stuff going off in the background. They should all be like that.
And in this week's local news, a report noted that on its surface, Glenbrook, Ohio is a small town like any other, a peaceful, all-American town. And yet, the report's authors added, if you only look closer, what you find may surprise you. In other news, a man is just having one of those decades where he doesn't feel like doing anything.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah, to the feared here and declare your independence from me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEAU default studios of Phoenix with an Ass, Phoenix.com. All right, we're going to get another really good show for you today. We have, we're going to do some jackalope today. First, we got Todd Morse. He's going to go ahead and tell us about Thistle T-shirts. You know, I think we're going to do a batch with him. He's in Palm Springs over there, and we got Bob and his sons. His sons are learning to fly. Bob's a pilot. So maybe we just do some commuting since they're going to take a flight over there anyway. Say, here, how many T-shirts can you take? How many can you pick up? Maybe we can get some screens over there and so on. Todd going to hook us up because he's got a machine. We're going to talk about the machine. We're going to talk about some of his cool ideas and where the term a buck came from. This was really interesting stuff when we were at Jackalope. We'll get to that in just a second. Mike Pastor, he's a libertarian, anarchist, Jackalope. He's up there. He's been involved in the San Diego Libertarian Party for a while, ran for Congress, and then I'm an anarchist. That happens more often than you think. Hey, somebody doing this principle, they go, wait. This isn't principled. These guys are like, they're buying, and they party at Epstein's house. So we'll go ahead and bypass that and do something else. Then the third hour, Tim Pachote. Tim Pachote, economic report rep. Yeah, he missed the Epstein thing with me and Dr. Frank and Davi yesterday on talking about. There was one thing I got. Well, let's first say good morning to Todd. Todd, you there?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Are you awake?
I am.
Yeah, well, thanks for getting up. Yeah, we almost didn't have it. Yesterday, the internet was down, and it came up right before. Today, it was down. They said it wasn't going to be till like 4 or 5 hours from now, and it was just up right in time. So I'm like, all right, cool. The Lord done wants us to talk to Todd. All right.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got to sneeze. And I have a button. Ha, ha, ha. All right. Now, the one thing that I wanted to start off right off is that in the buckskin, hold on. Something's blooming. I know it. Hey, Donna, are you putting bee pollen in my drinks? Are you sure? So I can tell when she misses. I'm going, I don't know, man. I'm sneezing. All right. This is, let's see if we got pictures of it. I think I took close-ups. Let me see. There's a lot that. Okay, let me pause on that. Well, the audience is seeing, the pictures of, stuff. And what I want to do, pause. Now, tell the story of why we call a dollar a buck. I thought this was interesting.
All right. But I wanted to start with your first question. You always start out with, what's the earliest thing you remember?
Oh, God. Whenever I interview people, a lot of times, I get to know them. I'm like, all right, tell me everything. What was your first memory kind of deal, Yeah. So Todd obviously.
We can go into that later.
Todd obviously listens.
Yeah. A buck, back in the old days, you could get a full deer buck skin for an ounce of silver or $1 of silver. And the word stuck. So the word buck comes from the buckskin of a deer.
The buckskin oven? The buckskin what?
The skin of a deer.
Okay, so you get a buck, a deer skin, an ounce of silver you put down, that's, what it was. Yeah, it's, for, I guess, long enough time that buckskin's, a silver dollar. So the silver dollar became known as a buck. Well, it's worth a buck, and so you don't have to carry a buckskin around, wrapped around your waist. You got, you always get it with a silver dollar. So that's why a dollar eventually became, just known as how many bucks or a buck or something like that. So I thought that was interesting. So what he did is the insignia that's on there, you see, I'll read it to you. It says, "In God We Trust," you developed a jackalope graphic, that he put on there. And it's series 20, let's say 2018 or 19. I can't read it. Really small.
Did Bob bring you your gift package?
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it. I'm
right,
blind,
cool.
man. God, man, But yeah, he just dropped it off. This.
You left, and I was all, what?
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff, and I left the bag there.
Yeah.
This skin. Donna got me a magnifying glass. See, that was so nice of you. Yep, series 2019. It says this skin is legal tender for all debts, public and private. But this will do. Okay, so it's interesting. I can see how, something of value and, worth something could be, currency. It's just that, precious metals are small and you put it in a little purse or something like that. And I got 192 of 231. Oh, so you did 231 of these and you numbered them. How did you make that image? Is that screened or what?
Yeah, that's screen print. I spent a lot of years in the screen printing industry. I had done leather belts for companies and wallets and vinyl, and yeah, I did a lot of that in my past.
We talked to Nova yesterday. He's going to come to the party Friday. Are you going to be able to make it over?
I hit up a buddy that would be able to get me there, but it's his birthday weekend, and I don't know if that's going to happen.
Well, that's too bad. But
John,
he's been works in leather. So Davi sent him a bunch of our art for our pirate stuff last night, and he looked at it and he goes, "Yeah, that's easy." And I'm like, "Okay, well, we'll see." So he's going to come visit Friday for the party, and Jordan Page is going to play, and we got. Nova's going to play his flute. He sent me some MP3s. I did not know that he played at the Wyndham up at Sedona for years. So the boy's got skills, so that's cool. Did you get to spend time with him?
I did. He made me breakfast one morning. It was rad. Made some bacon for my dogs, and I didn't know his story. I didn't know that he walked across the country 3 times and all that. But I was yesterday listening to him. I'm all, what? you didn't bring that up. But anyways, I spent a little bit of time with him, and I brought all the scrap leather because when I cut these out, there's a lot of pieces left over. And I was hoping to do like a workshop for the kids and have them start making little satchels or medicine bags to go around the bottles that I brought. But that didn't work out, so I gave him all the leather that I had left because we didn't have the room to bring it home.
Well, that's cool. This is we can go to SAS, a remnant place, and see if we can get some more leather pieces. Okay, now tell me about the bottles. Now that has the goat horn thorns or something, and it has gold and silver thorns inside the bottle. What was your mindset there?
I was hoping to see my prices on all my stuff was set.
Let's not do it now. They'll, won't be able to hear. When we come back, he had, all these he had a whole thing worked up in his head on the value of things and how you would trade and what implements you would use in an anarchist society if he had a thing going on. So we'll talk about it. Todd's been a good friend for a long time. He's does a lot of interesting design. Crime from the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
Now, working, I think we're back.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
All right, that's what we talked to Todd about it before, and we needed to, it's, I mean, how's your website? Do you even have a website now, or are you doing everything on festival? How you doing that?
My No, I don't have a website.
Well, this is what we're going to do. Tiger is working on stuff while Davi and I are here. I got a contract out with him for a month to freaking get some stuff done. Derek is at ANCOM, some anarchist festival back in Virginia or something that he's hanging out at. So he's going to be worthless for a week or two unless there's an emergency or something. But what we want to do is I want to get you a page. We've known you a long time. You got a lot of interesting stuff, but without a web page, it's just going to be difficult to help. So what we're going to go ahead and do, there's you and a couple other people. I think we're going to try and set up some kind of standard T-shirt or marketing something and get you one. What I need you to do is send me a URL or domain that you would like or you have. Do you have a name or a domain that you'd like?
I do have one in mind. I'd have to do that. Yeah.
Well, we could check it, or you can do it through Derek. It's just like usually I just go and today, but he's just busy doing he's walkabout with his family and his big giant Greyhound RV that he got. And
he got a different one. He's not in the ambulance anymore.
The ambulance brakes went out on his way back from here in about Albuquerque. So they stopped, and they had to work on that, do it while they were there, out in the desert sitting there for like 15 years, is sitting this Greyhound bus that had like $250,000 put into it. It's just all oak and great and wonderful and already ready to RV. But what happened is when they did the conversion, they had the wrong transmission in, or they didn't have the right radiator to keep. Anyway, it would overheat in the summer. And they could not stop it from overheating. So he went ahead and bought it for a ridiculous $5,000 and then spent maybe $10,000 on it. Him and Jay Noon, they redid some stuff and, air scoops and added kind of whatever and fixed that problem. And then just kind of been maintenance, this and that, new tire and whatever. And the thing is coming out pip. So he, of course, like he did the ambulance, all his electrical stuff and water stuff and this stuff and stuff. He just moved it all into the Greyhound, and now he's got a mobile home. But and he's got big enough area. He's got a warehouse now that he can park it at. So it's just been amazing. He has probably 200-gallon tank or 300. It was ridiculous under the. It's a Greyhound bus, so it has that under luggage thing, and he put one of those big tanks, shorter one that goes down in there. Well, how much water you got? He opens it, you go, I think you got enough. I mean, it's one of those deals. And so he's just done. Oh, and the other thing is we've been looking for pirate boxes, all our components and different things that were electronics and stuff that we're making, for communication and whatever. It's a long story. But I can't get the boxes the right size or quality I need. He had laser cut the plywood stuff to make all these different boxes to customize for his electronic. I go, why didn't you say that? We could do that. So we're just ready to order us I think it's a 40-watt laser or whatever thing. They're only like $300. You get it and boom, you can cut out anything you want. And I go, man, I'm all over this stuff. So we're working on a lot of things. The artwork that you do, that we see in a lot of this stuff, you're always kind of elaborate, a little bit of script. It's always got like a trim around it. It's like I'm looking at a dollar bill or something, like you're engraving or etching, at where I go, like I'm one swoosh. I'm like a Nike swoosh guy, I mean, boom, done. It's maybe a slogan or something. What's your experience in doing the art, and how long you been doing this? And is that your style, kind of elaborate things? Because the first T-shirts that I ever saw from you, it's like you have to have them explained.
Yeah, my father was a sign painter. He went to the Art Institute of Seattle, and I started painting signs when I was 7 years old. He would do the outline, and I would fill in the insides, and then I was all into comic books when I was a kid and admired the artists. And me and my brother's a full-time artist, actually. And I was all into the fashion and the skateboarding, and you would see these lines come out of nowhere that would just overnight just be these huge conglomerates. And I wanted to try and do the same thing. But anyways, yeah, I draw all my own shirts and go on, either Illustrator or Photoshop.
So you're just waiting for that one, like you got the capacity with that one design to go, and then boom. Well, we got some pirate stuff that, I'd rather you do it than me do it because, man, it's it's time consuming and pain in my butt. I mean, we can get it done pretty cheap, and that's the only reason why we do it. But, I'd rather not and share the wealth. But one of the things on the Jackalope Fest shirt that you did this year, you have I guess it's a Christian cross there. What was the reasoning behind that? It just felt like it?
That's the little T between your ears. No, that was what the logo the original logo that I took and made into that logo had. So I didn't want to change it.
Okay, no, it's symmetrical. It looks cool, and
yeah,
I'm sure a lot of people liked it. You got rid of how many shirts? I mean, you sold what?
I don't know the exact number, but I did get rid of. I almost made my money back.
Hey, whoa! He almost made his money. A successful festival when you make your money back. Is that what you consider success, Davi? A lot of times, yay! I made my money back.
Oh yeah, for sure. If I cover like
morning,
hotel,
Davi.
Morning.
Yeah, Davi just got up. Well, we went into the break talking about your goat head thing. Give us that deal real quick.
Well, when I was a little kid, I think I was like 6 or 7. Those used to grow around my house, and my little sister accidentally stepped on those.
A thistle?
And what's that?
Stepped on the little bottles?
No, the thing in there, the goat head thorn.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
These things, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're killers, man.
I used to hit these with my bike all the time.
My sister stepped on a bunch, and she wouldn't let me pull them out. And she started freaking out and jumping up and down and just pounding them into her feet. And I'm like, stop. And anyways, we pretty much eradicated them on my father's property here. They don't grow. But all around town, they're just like lawns on the side of the road. And I'm always letting people know to get rid of them. Anyways, I've always thought, you hear about people trying to make gold and silver coins and they get arrested, and I was thinking if we could get some rich Bitcoin guy to donate some silver and gold, we could make those for real in a card or something and have a medium of exchange that.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to may be even more nervous than you are. And the way things are now, your references have never been more important. Here are 3 tips. First, know that employers are checking. Every hire is under the microscope these days. Second, they won't just be checking references you provide. Figure that all of your ex-employers will get a call and be asked, would you hire him or her again? Third, assume you will be Googled. So before you apply, remove all those party animal photos from your Facebook page. Even if you're not in the job market, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
And you go straight to that, because Freedom's Phoenix, you go here, Pirates, you go there, Thistle, you go there.
It's time
you go there.
for Declare
So we have
Your
a marketplace
Independence with Ernest
it's just
Hancock.
The way it's structured.
To be
I'd
a part of the show, call
try to put it all in one thing, but then we're managing everybody's stuff.
602-2800.
Yeah, welcome back. We're going long. We're yakking it. Davi, Todd, and I. You know, over the years, we accumulate, talent. There's a lot of, that's, and I know they think they, Todd was talking. He's like, yeah, man, you guys got a lot of talent. There's Davi there, and you had Luke there, and we're all creating content. And I'm going, it's harder than you think. It's, you want to, if it kicks, it kicks. But you have, like, Luke, it kicked, and now they're kicking the crap out of him. He ain't making no money no more on YouTube. So he's doing whatever he's doing, got some subscribers and so on. But all these content providers, the internet has targeted us all. It is amazing. I see it in the traffic. See, my traffic numbers go down, but my traffic goes up. Like I have more page views, but my Alexa ranking or whatever ranking of the rankings of the guys is going down. And I'm going, how are they measuring? It doesn't matter. They just do whatever the hell they want to do. Because the Alexa ranking, which is Amazon, they use that number as a page ranking or something, popularity of allowed to or in the club of something for other ranking services also. And we've known this for a long time. And they give you a classification, and it was in the category, which we were like an aggregator in 05. What the hell's an aggregator? Because I could see, freedoms of perspective. And when we did that, we were at 8 point or 9, whatever. We were up there. Now they keep moving it down. We're at a 4 ranking now. Mm-hmm. And that has something to do with relevance or some subjective thing that they can do to control traffic. And I just ignore them. I don't care. I like to have the freedom, not be conforming to them, but to find nonconformists like Todd. Todd is not a conformist. Well, what he does have is he has a new T-shirt machine, which was an old machine that you refurbed and got, and they paid you to haul it off or something. Tell me that story, Todd.
That's a pretty long story. Back in the, I was running a screen print outfit down in Huntington Beach, and I took an employee in as a partner. And anyways, I had a big job, and it all had to be done through, the holiday weekend, through Christmas and New Year's. And I needed some ink, and I call it the Shirt Shack, a place to go get shirts, and they print, and they have big old 55-gallon drums of ink. And I went to go I said, hey, can you break me off a gallon? And they're like, we can't do that, but I tell you where you can get the ink. Anyways, long story short is I found a guy that had a press for sale, and me and my partner bought this press, and you have to hire a mechanic to set it up. And the mechanic came and told us about this guy, Alex, that invented M&R. M&R is like the Ford or Chevy of the industry, and he sold it. He sold M&R for $60 million and signed a disclosure he'd never make round presses ever again. But being an engineer that he was, he started making them go horizontally, kind of like a bike chain thing. And anyways, long story short is
Too late.
I have one in my possession and have a couple other skeletons that I can put together.
Well, how many shirts can you do? How fast? Give me the capability. How pretty is it? What?
You can print 1,000 shirts an hour.
What? Did you hear that?
That's nuts.
1,000 shirts an hour. How do you even, is it how fast you can load the shirt onto the thing or something?
Yes, sir. With other equipment, not this one, it's probably not as fast, but there's other people that have set records at 1,800 shirts an hour.
Oh, my God. How big is this thing?
This one's 25 feet long and 5 feet wide and about 5 feet high.
Well, where do you have it?
I just have it wrapped up right now, and that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, how did you make these other shirts? Just by hand?
I have an actual manual press that I just use, like yours.
Yeah, like that one?
Garage.
Yeah, no, well, I tell you what we need. God, we don't need no 1,000-hour press job. Holy crap. You know?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Okay, well, I'd like to. Yeah, you get me.
Maybe not today, but someday.
All right. Well, we'll all of a sudden somebody will make the order from, Macy's, and we'll go, okay. I tell you, that almost happened. Okay, let me tell you what happened. The Lovolution logo, somebody did, one of the girls here, they had a black V-neck kind of women's shirt, kind of show off their boobs or something, and they had the Revolution in rhinestones. It was like crystal diamond color, the letters, except for the love was in red rhinestones. And they were at the Scottsdale Mall, and they went through Nordstrom's or something, and one of the buyers saw it. And they go, oh, hell yeah. We need to buy. I love that. Woo, that logo. We need to go buy and fill all the stores and do it. And they did some research, and they go, hey, this is a political candidate? So they were like, whoa. We're definitely not helping that Ron Paul thing. But they thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I'm thinking that, that logo in rhinestones, I mean, it was they wanted it Nordstrom's. So I'm going, sometimes it hits. And the other thing is that it's they want trademark all the time and so on. And I don't, so I don't care. They want to buy it. Even Ron Paul, when he did his book, he didn't put the Lovolution logo on his first book because the publisher didn't have somebody they could buy it from or something, the trademark. Quit making noise, man. Okay, the when you put on here trademark, or trademark on your stuff, what's your idea about trademark? I'm not a big IP fan. What's your deal?
It is what it is. I just,
It was just extra ink? You just put it on there because you thought you were supposed to?
Which one were you talking about?
I think it was on the shirt, Let me see. It's got, I saw some, where is it on here? Trade, oh, is it the bottle? I don't know. Thought I saw it.
Yeah, I didn't think I put anything on the jackalope
Yeah, I don't think you did. I think it was the other one. Oh, and you signed, in the Buck thing, you got your signature on there. Ah, okay. But you're the Buck man. Be careful you get nicknames that way. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the design. The one that I like, the above the grid, that is the one we get the most calls for. But what we did, Todd, is if you look at it, we did the screen sideways so that it kind of bleeds out on the sleeves. The rays kind of do that. But it's not for automation. And you got to go one swipe. So you have to have the screen a little bit less dense, a little bit more open so it does enough ink. Because if you, go to the next stage or you infrared dry it and try and do another, it moves. It doesn't stick. The shirt doesn't stay in place. You only get one swipe at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how we do. We have to redesign it, but I like it the way it is. I mean, that's what gives it its unique look. But we'll see if we can work that out. Is there any time that you can get over and work with us in the next week or two?
Let me try and figure that out.
Well, let me know. Give me. I don't want you to come over and then we're off doing something. But let me know and we can get head down and plow. But I did want to make use of your efforts, and it was just cool because Palm Springs is not that far away, certainly by plane.
I just want to make. I was born in Palm Springs, but I don't live in Palm Springs. I live in Anza.
Yeah, but you can go to Palm Springs and pick up and deliver some shirts at the airport, right?
Yeah, and there's also an airport up here in Anza, too.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Because Bob has two sons. They're 15 and 16, and they've been taking flight lessons and so on. He's a pilot. He just wants to get his kids their pilot's license before they get their license, because he can, So they're all cool into that. Well, part of it, they were planning on going there anyway. I go, look, at 15 years old, boy, Danny, I go, you can say I've been a commercial pilot since I was 15. From the fourth letter of Captain Mark. Landlubbers are conditioned to believe that the originators of an idea deserve exclusive rights to it, but these innovators are nothing but privateers, granted a monopoly by the Crown. Potential inventors are restricted from using their own property and forced to navigate a wilderness of prohibited ideas. These pattern monopolies are intellectual colonization. This alliance of means between the Crown and the privateers is not an alignment of ends. Both collude to establish a permission culture, in which everyone second-guesses their own thoughts, never sure which ideas are permissible to develop. But their objectives are different. The Crown aims to cripple dissenting opinion, while privateers will only be satiated when all new ideas already fall under their monopoly. This scheme does not protect our information, but seizes it and denies us access. The future belongs to individuals who think, speak, and act freely to create and share without reservation. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live.